youtube.com/Geek Aloud, Thursday night, 8 p.m. Hey, Unky Dunky, I'm thinking of a number.
Is it 69?
69, dude! Episode 69 of the Gaming Enforcement Agency. Unfortunately, Bully is not third slotting it this evening. You can see he's offline. But of course, Okie dokie, I'm joined by your good self. How are you this evening, my friend?
Mate, I'm doing very, very well. Well and truly got the second slot sewn up tonight. I've kicked Bully off completely. He's not even holding us up anymore. So we're going to have to do all the heavy lifting in the chat tonight because Bully's not here to do it. So I'll see how I go tonight. I'll hopefully do him justice.
I love it, Unky. Good work, mate. Thank you very much to all the fine viewers out there. Hello and welcome, especially to those on the podcast services listening after the fact. Hey, how you guys doing? Now, let me tell you all how the show's going to run. We start off with games, interrogation, and deliberation. Tonight, it is the 8 games Unky Dunky and I have been going hands-on with during the week. If you've been watching the channel, you may have seen a few of the Let's installs pop up in the last few days. Then, segment 2 is the new segment, Unky Dunky. Have you been kicking indoors? If so, how many? How's the foot?
No, I've kicked in 8 doors this week. Foot's a little tender. It's a little tender. There's a few stories going out this week.
Excellent, mate. I don't want to put any pressure on, but anytime we have the same number of games as we do stories, it's a ripper of a show. So, heads up, 8 games, 8 news stories.
And don't we have 8 in the standoff as well?
Well, I don't know, but that is the third segment. It is the standoff. Unky Dunky, while you're scrolling, mate, please tell me, what are the constraints of the standoff this week?
Mate, it was a bit massive story last week that I didn't get to speak about, or even the week before because I glitched out and wasn't there for the news. But no, this week with E3 dead and buried and Summer Games Fest taking over, we're going to get our summer get up on and we're looking at the best characters in singlets, Troy.
I love it. Best characters in singlet. Ooh, I've already got a few favourites in mind. And then, of course, it's the 4th segment. That's audience integration / interrogation. Tell me, Unky, has Tagara already joined us? Is he in the chat? If so, hey, Tagara, how you doing?
He is in the chat. His first comment to us is 69, dude.
69, dude. We made it. All right. And that is the run of show. So without further ado, let's get to games, interrogation, and deliberation. Unky Dunky. First up this evening, it is Resident Evil 4's Mercenary modes. I did the install on the channel today. I was surprised / shocked that it was a 10 meg download. That's right, an authentication key only required on the Xbox, which I've been playing it. I know you're on the PlayStation, mate. Do you happen to know? Was it a big install in PlayStation land, or was it just a little file as well?
Yeah, I don't know. I've got a feeling it might have installed it in the background while my PlayStation was resting, and then all you have to do is jump in and just sort of activate it essentially. So I think that's what happened.
Sure.
But no, I have rolled credits on Resident Evil 4 main campaign twice.
Well done, sir.
So I've done it on standard, and I've now done my full playthrough again, going for all the treasure. I've now got the unlimited rocket launcher, which costs you 2 million pesetas, so that was a grind and a half. I got it sort of towards the end of that second time of playing through. And Mercenaries mode now, thank you for bringing this mode in to make it much, much easier to get the hand cannon weapon, because otherwise you have to finish this game on a new game, not New Game Plus, under 5.5 hours with only 15 saves. So, and that's to unlock the hand cannon, whereas with Mercenaries mode, all you got to do is finish every level with an S rank or more with any of the characters. So,
and then does that unlock it in the main campaign?
It does. So it unlocks the hand cannon, you get it, and then you can upgrade it like any other weapon. So then if you spend one of your tickets on it, which at that point, if you've played the game twice, you've usually got enough of those tickets to purchase those things, which you can also now do with DLC, but that's a different story. Which I'll never do. You don't know. I think by the time, if you play the game properly, you don't really need to sort of spend money on them anyway, but so it's there if you want to.
Hashtag poser gamers?
Yeah, little bit. That's just, it's a bit cheating, but I think part of the game is sort of working through that, and the replayability sort of has you playing the stuff and unlocking those things so you can upgrade your weapons, and that's part of the fun of the game. So I've upgraded my hand cannon. It's got unlimited ammo now, so it's a ripper now. I'm on my third playthrough, playing through on professional mode now, trying to run through the game in under 7 hours to unlock the, I think it's the Chicago Sweeper now. It used to be called the Chicago Typewriter, and you can get unlimited ammo for that as well. So
it's funny to say that. I'm 7 hours in, and I've just gotten I've just picked up Ashley. We've just gone into, what's that, chapter 6, I want to say? Chapter 5 or 6. Okay. Not far in at all, but I'm 7 hours in.
Yeah, wow. I think 22 hours my first playthrough. My second playthrough going for all the treasure and stuff took me 9 and a bit hours, and I've just hit the hour mark and I've already almost hit the castle. So
Yeah, okay.
I'm doing pretty well time wise in my professional run so far, so I haven't had too many hiccups, which has been good. But no, onto mercenaries mode. I really enjoy the mercenaries mode. It's just with this combat system that the game's already got, which is so good. It's one of the best third-person action games I've ever played in terms of its combat and the way it sort of gives you a whole vast array of tools to sort of use that combat ground. And
Sitting, sitting
it's
just
so
below Returnal.
yeah, I mean, it does feel like that. Like you've got so much things going on the screen all at any given time. You've got so many different ways you can utilize all the things at your disposal. You've got grenades, you've got the crossbow with the bolts, you've got machine guns, handguns, and shotguns, and they all do different things. And I don't think there's a bad gun in the game. I think they've done really well at balancing all the guns in the game. So
Yeah.
anyone that's using anything or has a favorite, they might say it's better for this reason, but for whatever reason, another gun might be better in a different statistic. And I think they've done that balance perfectly in this game. So you don't feel like you're missing out by using a certain gun. Like I stuck with the Red 9 pretty much for my whole playthrough. A lot of other people prefer the Punisher, and a lot of people prefer the Matilda, which is the fast rate fire pistol, which I don't
Oh,
really
I thought
like.
you were just throwing little girls at people.
That could work too. I think you got Ashley there. You throw her, she gets caught enough. But no, the mercenaries mode, I managed to. It didn't take too long to actually S rank all these levels. I think once I unlocked Louis, which is
Can
all
I
you got to
ask
do is
you, on
yeah.
that, I've only played the 3, which you're seeing right now, and I saw going in that there were more characters than Leon. But my question is, how do you unlock those? Have you unlocked those through the main campaign progress, or is it progressing the mercenaries mode unlocks those extra characters in mercenaries mode?
Yeah, just the mercenaries mode. So I think you got to get an A rank with any of the characters. So you play the first village level with Leon, you get an A rank, which is not too hard to do. I think I got an S rank in my first playthrough. It was Leon, and that got me Louise. And then I played through the second level because that then unlocks that level as well. You play through that with Louise. That took me a little while. I think the second one took me the longest to get the S rank. I think I maybe did it 5, 6 times before I got up to that S rank, and that was using Luis and his special ability, which is dropping dynamite. So once you unlock the ability to hit I think it's R3 and L3 at the same time, you get the ability to drop dynamite. And if you've got a whole bunch of enemies around you, you can shoot the dynamite quickly as well so you can use them more and not wait for it to explode and get massive combos with that. So that I think was the best way to get the S ranking in that one. Although I think I might have done it with Leon first, but then in the final level, I managed to get S rank my first time playing through it. With Luis and just using that dynamite, I've managed to finish the whole level, killed every enemy in it, and got that full S ranking to unlock
Wow.
the hand cannon at the end. But it's not too hard. Like I would
Can
have thought
I
it'd be
ask
harder.
you,
Yeah.
just on that, as you're finishing it, is there any trophies in it on the PlayStation? Because I haven't played it
Nah.
much on Xbox, but there's no achievements that I can see for the new mercenaries mode, which feels a little light.
Yeah, no, I don't. I think they have said there's no trophies or sort of achievement support for the Mercenaries mode, which I think,
Swing and a miss.
yeah, I think it would have been nice to have some there. Don't make it
Yeah.
part of the platinum. The platinum's hard enough as it is to get some of the stuff you've got to
Well,
get in this game to get the platinum. But
yeah, but coming out, what is it, 2 weeks after launch, I want to say? It should have been DLC, and it should have got its own little subsection of trophies or achievements for being DLC, in my mind.
yeah, no, you would think so. I mean, I can't be too mad at them. It's free DLC, and it's given me an easy way to unlock the hand cannon, which
Wait,
otherwise
Geek,
was going to be
this
impossible.
this is the internet, mate. You can get angry at anyone for anything.
No, that is true. That is true. That is true. But no, the best reward is that hand cannon because it is the strongest, most powerful gun. I think it does 33 damage or something fully maxed out. So pretty much one shots take out most things. I mean, I've got the infinite rocket launcher as well, which just makes bosses just die in one shot.
Does that carry into this mode?
Not into this mode, no. So because they give you select guns, I think, for each character at the start of these. So, but anything unlocked here is unlocked. So the gun you unlock there is unlocked in the campaign. You can unlock the infinite rocket launcher on the easiest mode ever, and then carry it through on your professional run the next go as well. And it doesn't penalize you at all. The only thing it does penalize is you getting an S plus ranking. For the level, which I think you need to do to unlock the cat's ears, which then gives you unlimited ammo for all weapons. So
is that a thing that hangs off your suitcase, or what's that? Is it something Leon?
No, you actually have to wear like a bandana with cat's ears.
Perfect.
Yeah, so I think at the moment, if I get through my run now, I'll get the deer antlers or something that make you take less damage, and then I'll get the Chicago sweeper as well, which is I can be the unlimited machine gun, which I think you can bring into your professional run as a new game, and it doesn't penalise you, so you might be able to get the S plus ranking there.
Does the headgear carry over to the main game as well?
Headgear's only in the main game, and it does carry over to all different things.
Right.
So you can't get the headgear in Mercenaries. Mercenaries just
Okay,
3
I
levels.
misunderstood.
3 levels, 4 characters. So you've got Krauser as well, and you've got Louise, Leon, and then what's his name? I'm blanking on it. Husk, I think his name is. Tagara will probably be able to tell me, but I think his name's Husk.
Can I ask you, mate, is this the first time they've ever done Mercenaries mode? Like, is this a Resident Evil 4 exclusive?
Nah, Mercenaries has been around for a while now. I think the most popular one I think they had was Resi 5. I think a lot of people love Mercenaries in that one. I can't remember if Resi 4 had a Mercenaries mode. I got a feeling it did. I know Village.
All this style, like this is that mode?
Yeah, it's just a wave mode essentially for each of these main zones to play and unlock
was
stuff.
Was it in Village and what was 7?
Yeah.
I've never gone hands-on with Mercenaries mode before. Today was the first time I'd ever played it.
Yeah, so I think Village definitely had it. I know you could jump in. It was a separate mode that unlocked, and you can unlock different things and unlimited guns and stuff for the main game if you go through and get certain rankings in that as well. So it is. I haven't checked to see if that Mercenaries mode's in third person with the most recent update they did. But it definitely was a first-person mode, and it was a lot of fun just getting in there and using that combat. But this is the most fun it's been.
Yeah, and the reason I asked, man, is I had an absolute blast with this today. And honestly, my skills in Resident Evil improved infinitely playing for like an hour today in Mercenaries mode. I'm like, this should have been the demo. Because it's the locations, it gives you the feel of the weapons, the feel of the gameplay. I don't think they're spoilers. They put a warning up the top of their spoilers. I wouldn't argue locations are spoilers, in my opinion. But to me, if they had released this instead of the chainsaw demo at the start, I would have been way more hyped. Like, I totally would play this as the demo for any upcoming Resident Evil game. And it improves your base skill set. So when you do go hands-on with the game, you're better at it. But the point I really want to get to is, if this is in Village, I was playing this today on the Xbox, and I'm like, this mode would be amazing in VR. I hope they bring it to Village. But you're telling me it's already in Village. So if I can turn this off tonight, boot up the PS VR 2, and go eyes on with Resident Evil Village and what's it called? The Mercenaries mode.
Mercenaries,
it's going to be amazing. I'm stoked.
Give it a go. Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't remember reading anything whether the VR mode does include Mercenaries or not. So, mate, you'd have to let me know.
Ooh, I'm excited. This is great stuff. I can't believe I've missed out on such a great mode. Like, I'm always a big Horde mode fan. I'd argue it's Horde mode. Am I wrong?
No, that's exactly what it is. It is a Horde mode. I can see them adding more to it as well. I think they could add more levels, more characters, more unlocks for the main campaign potentially as well. Just because just the core gameplay of this game is so much fun to play. Like the way just shooting feels in this game, and the reaction to zombies and the physics and stuff, and the way it all plays is just such a great playground to play in. And I think you'd be remiss to sort of not go further with this. Whether they might just be starting work on Resident Evil 5 remake now. We'll have to wait and see. But
if you look at it, man, like all the big pieces are there. They've already got all the game modes. They've already got all the locations built. They've got all the enemies built. They obviously have the framework built for like, this is the sandbox for the area, and we can drop orbs that are increasing time or power ups or whatever. Like, all the work's been done. It's a small amount of work comparatively once the game's built. So there's nothing stopping them just picking any location in the game that lends itself to a Horde mode and going nuts. So yeah, you're right, man. They could absolutely build off this, and I hope they do, because this really lit me up today. It got me back into Resident Evil 4. Not that I'd fallen off it or dislike it at all, but I've been playing so many other games. It's hard for my attention to lock anywhere for any amount of time. I've loved it. No real points from me, man. Like, you've covered it pretty well. Oh, I did have to ask, what's the deal with the double click, is it? To get that, like that little bar across the bottom.
What's
that? I don't understand what's going on there.
That's your super meter. So each character's got a different super meter. I know. Obviously, I spoke to Luis's one where he drops the dynamite. I think Krauser gets those giant arm sort of sword things that he gets in the main campaign. He can do a lot of melee damage. And I think Hunk. Tagara has said it's Hunk is the name, and he's asking, does Hunk do the neck snap like the original? And yes, I can confirm, Tagara, he does. He gets like an unlimited ammo mode with his submachine gun, which is mow down enemies. I'm trying to remember what Leon's was. I'm trying to think.
I'm pretty sure to me, it just looked like a score multiplier, and it looked like it maybe 10. Like, I think, is it normally 100 points for a kill, and I think it goes up to 1,000. And then instead of getting 2 seconds for a kill, you're getting 4. That appeared to be what was happening on screen, but I don't actually know.
Yeah, I can't remember. I'll have to jump back in because I've been using Luis so much because of his dynamite OP power. So once you get him, just if you want
So
to get those
once
S
when you
ranks, then
click
do
it,
it.
can you just throw unlimited dynamite? Is that
Nah,
it?
so you plop it straight on the ground where you are. So it's best to use if you're getting surrounded by enemies. What you want to do is just click your L3 R3 in. Then you just got to keep placing the dynamite each time, and then as they're around, you just aim down, shoot it, it explodes, and you can put down another one. If you wait for it to explode, then that's the only way you can put down another one. So shooting it just expedites the process, and you can drop more dynamite between inputs. So it's worth it to try and get those shots off and shoot the dynamite because you can maybe get 4 or 5 out as opposed to maybe 2 or 3
Hmm.
each time, and it's really worth your while, especially at the end of some of those modes. I'm not sure whether you've managed to get any S ranks yet, but you've got to go
No,
pretty deep,
B is
pretty
my uppermost.
pretty deep into those levels. But it's worth pushing through Mercenaries just to get those levels at the S rank, just so you can unlock your hand cannon in the main campaign.
I 100% will, man. Like, it is such an enjoyable mode. It really lit me up. Like, you know me, I'm a gameplay first kind of guy. And when you're
Yep.
playing through Resident Evil 4 and they go cutscene, a cutscene, a cutscene, my mind starts wandering. I'm thinking, oh, I could just check a notification on my phone. But Mercenaries
Yep.
mode is just, hey, let's play. Let's play. I
Yeah.
love it. It's like, and I like the idea. It appeared to me to be the same layout in the 3 levels, but I'm not sure if you can customize it or whatever. But I know you and Bully were talking recently about, what's your loadout? Oh, I go with this gun, that gun, whatever. I'm like, if they did their, like, this is the crowd favorite weapon config 1, this is crowd favorite weapon config 2, weapon config 3. For me, as a player who doesn't like to read anything but learn through gameplay, I'm like, if you force me, here, use this weapon set in this level, okay, that's how they work. All right, level 2, totally different weapon set, and this is how they work. That's how I learn. Like, they could teach me so much about how to play the game without me having to read anything, just by mandating different weapon sets to these levels. I absolutely love this as a playground, and as I said, like a tutorial level learning area for me. This is fantastic.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, I think they do a good job of. Oh, I think I've lost your audio.
On the stream,
No,
or
all good. No, I've got you now. I think it's all good.
all right.
No, so they do a good job of each character having different weapon sets. So unfortunately, you can't sort of pick different weapons for each character. But I think Leon gives you the pistol, like the normal pistol with the red dot sight. I think Luis gets the red 9, which I was used to in the campaign, which is probably another reason I used him a lot with his dynamite, and then obviously all melee for Krauser, and then Hunk's got his submachine gun. So they're pretty good if you've got a style that you like, you can pick a character that's going to suit that.
Yeah. Well, yeah, as I said, this is just fantastic to me. Great addition. And as I said, as soon as we go off air tonight, I'm going to check out the PSVR 2 version of Village and see if I can get my eyes on with Mercenaries. No final points from me. Anything else from you, mate, on this one?
No, mate, I'm just going to give my final review for Resi 4, especially after this DLC's been released and I'm now, well and truly finished. For me, at the moment, this is sitting at a 10. There's only one other game that's got a 10 from me this year, and that's Hi-Fi Rush. So these are my two games that are fighting it out for Game of the Year so far.
I love it, mate. Great work. Just remind me, where are you sitting on the Dead Space remake? What was that score? Was that 9?
That's about a 9 at the moment. Yeah, I still have to finish. I have jumped back into it, but it's really hard jumping back into that combat with those enemies when I've been playing so much Resi 4. I kind of just find myself going back to Resi 4 just because I enjoy that combat loop just a little bit more than just severing limbs off these bad guys. I really like the way the enemies AI works in this and how tactful you've got to be. So, yeah, I'll get back to it at some stage, but definitely a 9. But those two other games, Hi-Fi Rush and Resi 4, are sitting firm at the top at the moment.
Yeah, they are great picks. All right. Oh, speaking of great picks, I hear you went to the movies, and guess what? So did I. Game 2 this evening is no game at all. It's the Mario movie. Check it out. So, to avoid copyright strikes, what we've got on stream is Super Mario Odyssey gameplay footage, and of course, Chris Pratt and Jack Black being Mario, the voices of, I should say, Mario and Bowser. Unky, over to you. What were your thoughts?
Oh, let's go, mate! I love this movie from start to finish. I just we have to talk about it because it's probably the biggest thing coming out of the movie is the song "Peaches" by Bowser / Jack Black, I should say. It's just incredible, and it's the catchiest song ever. And you'll rue anyone that goes to see this movie because that's all they'll be singing for the next bloody week or two. Because it's still in our household. We still listen to it daily. But
it's getting the plays around here as well, mate.
What a song! But a great adaptation. It's probably easily up there as one of the best video game adaptations to movies we've had. Obviously, you had the initial Mario movie that came out that was probably, without saying too much, terrible. I haven't got. I'm probably due for a rewatch at some point just to see if it's as bad as I remember. But this is so faithful to Mario. I think Chris Pratt is a very, very good Mario. I didn't expect to like his Mario as much as I did, but by the end of it, I'm like, I could actually go a game where he actually voices Mario, and we finally give Mario a voice just with the voice he gave it. I loved him as Mario. I loved Charlie Day as Luigi. I thought he was perfect.
He smashed it out of the park.
Just the chemistry between Mario and Luigi as well was there as well from the start between their family dynamics. And I love seeing them sit down with their family and their dad and all that kind of dynamic. I thought was great.
Can I ask you just a quick Luigi question?
Yeah.
And this is jumping all over the point. I apologise, but do you foresee the next film being a Luigi's Mansion film, as I did?
I don't know. I think they can go so many different places. They obviously had the nod to Luigi's Mansion when he sort of falls into sort of Bowser's Land. That's
His
too
whole
much. And
storyline felt like it was the prelude to next up is Luigi's Mansion. Here's him scared, alone, and
I know. It's so true. They gave him the torch sort of briefly as well, and they had all the ghosts. It was just set up so well. So I would like we've spoken so highly of Luigi's Mansion 3, the game, is one of the best kids games you can get. Easily the best game you can play at Halloween. I think it won that Standoff that time. But it would make for a great movie. They probably don't want to take a back step on a lot of the other characters, which I think that movie would have to do. But if you just made a Luigi's Mansion movie, that could be fine. It won't. I don't necessarily think it would be the sequel to Mario Brothers. I think it easily
standalone, but use the same.
Oh, absolutely. And just the tech they've got on display here is just ridiculous. Like that scene where they're in the water and all the lights, all the different colored lights coming through the water from Rainbow Road. It was incredible. And just the music throughout the thing, the way they weave the Nintendo music into these epic soundtracks. And
so good. That whole soundtrack, top to bottom, had the tingles going up the spine for me.
I'm getting tingles now just talking about it. Just that final scene with like Mario and Luigi, you get the star and they've got that star music in the background. Oh, it was just perfect.
Yeah, when they hit Donkey Kong and they do the reveal of the Rainbow Road at the start, I was like,
there was just so much. There was just so much fan service as well. Like it's enjoyable for kids that don't know everything, but for anyone that's been a gaming fan for this long, or even a Mario fan, the amount of things you pick up in there. They even briefly shot to like a wide shot where you could see the first level from Nintendo 64. You could see the island where the bob-omb thing would have been at the top, and you got the little cannon down the bottom that was there. Yoshi wasn't in the movie per se, but there were Yoshis as they were running, and one takes a drink from the lake. But if there was some of my friends didn't even catch up and didn't even see the Yoshis at that point. So you got to keep an eye out for these things. It's just the attention to detail. I think the ringtone on Luigi's phone was the GameCube startup noise.
Oh, I did not catch that one, man. Well picked.
As well. So I just need to see this movie again just to pick up on all these different sort of things that are just there.
As soon as we walked out of the movies, I'm like, when's this coming to streaming services? I need like 10 rewatches of this.
Oh, mate, and just all the kids who went and saw it were buzzing afterwards. Well, my little fella on the way home, he's like, that's the best movie I've ever seen. And that's just the power of Nintendo and the power of Mario. The fact that it's been going this long and the fact that we've now got a movie like this, there's going to be probably, I reckon, a lot of kids that may not have even played the game before they even see this movie and are now got so much Mario they can go and play. Obviously, with Odyssey, we haven't had a Mario game since Odyssey, or not a 3D Mario game anyway.
My boys walked out of the cinema, where's Cappy? I'm like, fair question.
Fair question. You didn't get Cappy, we didn't get Yoshi, but there's so much stuff they can still do with this universe. You got your Wario's and
Waluigi. Shout out to Donkey Kong. Seth Rogen nailed that.
Oh, he did. You wouldn't expect to get a Donkey Kong that is that talkative, but to have it work so well, I just loved him and Mario's just their relationship and the way they sort of worked off each other. And the way Donkey Kong sort of didn't really like him, but you sort of saw that friendship grow as the movie went on. And no, I just thought it was really endearing. I thought it's obviously it's not very heavy on story. It's quite light on story. It's got your standard Peach. It's Peach has been captured, but this time it's Luigi. So I like that sort of flip on the script. And Peach is this this badass now that you can do that course in under a minute, and watching Mario try and do it and getting owned multiple times. I thought it was actually really funny. Some of the slapstick comedy in this thing was just beautifully done. I think it's just every time it wanted to make you laugh, it did. It didn't feel like it was trying too hard either
No.
to get laughs out of me. And then just, as we said before, just the Peaches song just came out of nowhere. It's so Jack Black.
So good.
As soon as you get it, you're like, this is just Jack Black wanting to have something to sing about in a movie, and it's just perfect. And he just says, Peaches 5 times and over and over again, pretty much for the whole song. But it's just absolutely brilliant.
Can I say on that? I've obviously known Bowser since I was a kid, but I've never liked Bowser. But that song has flipped me on the Bowser character. I now am a Bowser fan.
Yes, and he was so sweet. Like, all he really wanted to do was, like, marry Peach. He actually was quite nice about the whole thing until she kind of threw it all back in his face. He had flowers ready to go for her. He just wanted to marry her. Yeah, he's, trying to kidnap her and stuff to do so, and all he really wanted was the star, but he wanted to rule with her. Like, it's a bit sweet. Like, I think Bowser's always a little bit misunderstood because he's a big, giant, hulking, metal turtle. And when I say metal, I mean, like, heavy metal, because Jack Black and all that. But, what a great movie. I'm sure your kids loved it just as much as my kid did.
The only question I've got left for my boys is there any way we can work out if I enjoyed it more than them or not? I think maybe I did, but they keep telling me there's no way I did.
Yeah, it's hard to say. I mean, the kids obviously get the magic of all that, and being an adult, maybe we don't. But I think I could argue that we do because we've been around video games so long. We've seen so many poor adaptations of video games into the video or movie industry that it's just we've come to expect it just to be bad, and to get something this good, this faithful. Not even just as a video game movie, but as a animated movie in general. I just think it's such an achievement by them, and I think now they've got this franchise, they can just keep building on it. As I said, Chris Pratt, brilliant as Mario. There was some naysayers before saying, what's he going to be like, and it's just stupid. We should have Martinez doing it. Although there's a nice cameo from him a couple of times in the movie as well.
I wish I just had the article to flick up now. That it was like 4 days before release, something. Chris Pratt, the headline came out. Go see the film and then talk to me.
Yeah, exactly. And he just has that nice subtle hint of the squeakiness in his voice every now and again, but just the way his accent plays through, I just think it's just it's so understated and brilliantly done. I just think he needs props for this because there was a lot of shit talkers before the movie came out. I just think between him and the whole voice cast, I think they did wonderfully well at all these characters that predominantly aren't voiced in the video game.
Yeah, I don't have any knocks for this film. I loved it top to bottom. Performances, scripting, everything about it. The only way it could have been better or worse, different, would be is if Pixar somehow had have done it and somehow made you cry about it. I don't know what they would have done, but Pixar, every time, tearjerkers. I don't know how they could make you cry about Mario. This film went nowhere near it, thank goodness. But that's the only way I could see it being any different. But I don't know how I'd feel if Mario made me cry.
No, exactly right. I think that's the only thing Pixar sort of does in their movies. They do sort of have that heart in them, which I don't know if this one has the heart.
No, it didn't. It was missing the heart, but I'm not sure it mattered.
Again, I wasn't there for that. I knew exactly kind of what I was expecting to get and what I wanted to get out of that movie, and I got all of that. So I couldn't be happy with this movie and where they're going to go moving forward.
Yeah, 2 massive thumbs up from me. If you're watching this podcast, you're a gamer, you absolutely do yourself a favor. Go to the cinemas and see this. Hearing the phenomenal soundtrack through the sound system in cinemas. Woo! It is a treat and a half. Get on it. Any final points from you, mate?
Nah, as you just said, mate, go see it.
Oh, yes. I know. I can't wait for it to come to streaming services. Bring it on. What? Would it be Disney? No. Who will be?
Well, it's Illumination, so it's the guys that did Minions and stuff.
Yeah,
so whatever.
Where's Minions available? Wherever Minions is available, keep my eyes.
I feel like I've seen it on Netflix and stuff, but I don't know where this one might show up.
Well, whenever it happens, sign me up. I'm ready.
We're all over it.
Indeed. All right, game 3 this evening. Me playing Sifu. Now, just a little one because I know we've covered it and showered it with praise earlier. But it came out a week and a half ago onto the Xbox Series X, and I've gone hands-on with it, and it is still a thing of beauty. This opening scene still took my breath away. Those rain effects, the reflections, the puddles, everything about it. It's the John Wick simulator you know and love. If you're an Xbox-only gamer and you have yet to go hands-on with Sifu, this is, what was it? I want to say it was $50. I'm not entirely positive. It was around $50, but $50 well spent. It's just phenomenal. I absolutely love it top to bottom. It's a perfect port. There's no dodginess about it whatsoever. There is one coming up that I'm going to flag it a little bit for, but not in this game. Perfect implementation. Absolutely love it. Runs beautifully, and not being on the dual sense is relief to my old man hands. I can put in some serious, consistent time with this game, and my fingers are not disappointed in me. Unky, any thoughts or questions on the Civ report other than it's just fantastic, and I still praise this game. Definitely play it.
Oh, absolutely. Again, you're right. It is one of those games that you play for an hour on the dual sense, and your hands are destroyed. Doesn't matter who you are. You could have Troy's hands, anyone's hands.
I
It's going to
wouldn't wish
kill
that
him.
on anyone.
But no, I kind of want to get back to. I think I've still got it on my PS5 sitting there. I haven't deleted it off there because I know they've been putting all this content out for the PS5 as well. So I know it's got a whole bunch of extra modes now that you can play through. These like battle scenes that they've created that are
Yeah.
based on sort of popular movies and scenes there where you play as him, and he's got a whole bunch of new moves I think they've added to the game as well. He's got different outfits and all that kind of stuff and difficulty settings. So for someone that did finish it on its normal difficulty back in the day, which was no mean feat because this game is bloody tough, to go through maybe and even just play through on an easy mode now and just have fun with the combat, because as you said, this game it's hand-to-hand combat is easily one of the best. It's John Wick simulator on steroids, obviously with no guns, but it's just so much fun to play, and the art style again is one of my favorite styles of art styles with that sort of cell shading and stuff. I can't get enough of this game back when it came out, and yeah, I reckon I'm due for another playthrough, Troy.
I got to tell you, man, the muscle memory still lives on. I kicked this on, put it on normal mode, not easy. I finished it on easy on PlayStation 5, started on normal mode. My very first run, you're looking at it here, I got all the way to the end boss in the club. He kicked my teeth in. But for my first run on normal difficulty and having not played it in probably 8 months, and then just jumping in normal all the way through straight to that second level end boss, I was quite proud of myself.
Nice. Well, I'm proud of you too, Troy.
Thanks, Aki. All right, then. Let's move on, and I'll hand it over to you, sir, for some Game 4 and DC Justice League. It's not Cosmic Shake, it's Cosmic Chaos.
Cosmic Chaos. Yeah, no, this was a little surprise one. I'd seen a few people talking about it, saying it's the kid version of DC game that, it's finally playable by kids because it's no adult content. But I was surprised by actually how funny this game was. This has got some really good writing. We've talked about a lot of games this year having, not the best writing in it or voice acting, but this thing, top tier in terms of its voice acting. Every character is voiced, every NPC is voiced, every conversation is voiced. And you got top tier voice actors as well. Straight away, when Superman spoke, I'm like, that's my man Nathan Drake. Nolan North is playing really? Superman.
Does that mean Troy Baker's in here as well somewhere?
No, he's not, unfortunately. It's got, what's his name? Plays Batman. The bloke from Third Rock from the Sun. He's in that. He's one of the younger guys. The guy that had brown curly hair. He plays Batman, whatever his name is. I didn't recognise the female actor, but either way, like the way they banter between each other in this game is just brilliant. I've laughed out loud multiple times. The gameplay you can see on screen now is kind of like a top-down isometric sort of beat-em-up game. So it's
sorry, you may have already said. What are you playing this on?
On the Xbox.
Xbox, check.
Yeah, so it's just sort of top-down beat-em-up. It's got dungeons. It's similar. It's kind of like Diablo Light, but with DC characters. You can flick between Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman at any given time. You've got like a normal attack is on A, then you've got, I think, a strong attack if you hold down, X, then you've got a strong attack if you hold it down. You've got, on the bumper buttons, you've got a throwing weapon, so Batman throws his batarangs. You've got Superman who shoots lasers from his eyes, then you've got Wonder Woman who throws a whip out. Then you've got other moves where, like, Superman can do his breath, like his freeze breath. Batman will, like, throw, like, a stun grenade type thing. Superman can also do one where you hold down, he takes them into the sky and drops them down on top of each other, and you've got a skill tree for each character as well. And the overworld's really cool. Like, you can traverse it. Like, Superman can obviously fly, Batman will jump up and then do a glide, and then Wonder Woman will sort of use her little lasso-y thing and sort of, move along like Spider-Man kind of thing. I've seen stuff now that I haven't even got yet, so there's obviously Batmobile and all that. I haven't even gone that close to unlocking personalised vehicles yet.
How long in are you? Sorry, how many hours?
I'd be 2 or 3 hours in.
Yep. And sorry, I'm still not entirely clear. Is it just a beat 'em up from an isometric perspective? Is that
essentially? Yeah, kind of. So you've got the overworld where you do, and you've got all these little story missions and side quests you can do. And Mixie Pedalon, I think his name is. It's weird spelling, but that's what they call him. He's just there to create chaos throughout the world. So, and he's trying to make the civilians of these guys hate you. So he'll tell you to get your friend back. You've got to, like, you do all this stuff for the sewers or everything, and you do that. You're thinking you're fixing it, but then all of a sudden you're flooding part of the city, so the civilians hate you. So he's sort of working you against them to be the new mayor of this city. So it's got really funny dialogue that goes throughout all of this, and they just hate this guy, and he's created all these like fish creatures and all that kind of jazz. These are the guys you're pretty much predominantly fighting. You got little boss characters, dungeons you go in that you got to find keys to get through doors, and a really cute art style. The collectibles are probably my favorite thing though. You've got these comic books you got to find throughout the world, and each comic book you get, you then go to a character inside your main base, and you'll give him comic books to hand over, and then you can unlock different comic book versions of your characters. So say I'll say comic book such and such from whatever issue of Batman, it'll show you the front cover of that comic book, and then you can unlock the actual outfit for that Batman by paying him in comic books.
Yeah, okay, that's cool.
And then each character has got all different, probably maybe like 10 to 15 different outfits you can unlock with these comic book pages. So it's my kind of collectible where it's not just collecting stuff for collecting's sake. It's actually got a tangible result, and it's really cool outfits for your characters.
Nice. What's a mission or a quest time-wise? What sort of is it like a 15-minute run to get?
Yeah, probably not. Yeah, some are even small. I think you got a few minutes for some, and I think as the mission's gone, I've had a few longer ones and stuff that have you doing a few more things and mini games and stuff throughout it as well. So really good one for kids. It doesn't have the easiest drop-in, drop-out co-op that I've seen. I don't know if you can just drop in whenever you want. I think it's got a
local
separate mode for
co-op
that.
or online only.
I think it's local. No, it's online only, I believe, but you can't. Yes, there's no co-op mode couch co-op as far as I know. I've read reviews there where they're saying that's probably one of the only knocks on it is that it could have like a much better multiplayer suite, which it really doesn't do, which you think is a bit of a miss for this kind of game. When you've got 3 characters, you could easily just plug and play, you would have thought, but apparently not.
Gotham Knights style?
Yeah, like it'd be nice if you could, because I don't know whether that's partly because anyone, or as you're playing, you can flick between the characters just with a flick of a D-pad at any time, and maybe that ruins stuff if someone's trying to play as Batman, but then another person wants to play as Batman. I don't know how it would work. So, yeah. But that's the only knock on it. But I don't really care because I'm playing it single player anyway, and I've been very impressed with what is supposed to be a kids game. It's definitely more than just a kids game.
Yeah, nice. Does it tie into like a current animation or anything? Like, is there a Netflix show that's just?
I don't believe so. I think it's just doing its own thing. I don't think I've seen anything like this out there, and that's why I really enjoy the art style and the story it's telling as well, because it's something fresh and new, and it just has fun with the dialogue as well. It's just, that's the main thing I can say about this game, is that your kids are going to come and play for its cartoony vibe and fun combat, but I stay here for the conversations between these characters and just the way they sort of work off each other.
Nice one, man. Sounds awesome. My final question is just: are there any whingers?
Any what? Sorry?
Whingers. Anyone on there?
Oh, whinging? Nah. No one's whinging. You might get Superman whinging about Batman or Batman whinging, but it's always funny. It's not a gripe on it. It's actually fun dialogue. So I've got no knocks about any of the dialogue at all at the moment. It's one of the more funnier written games that I've played in recent time.
That's great, man. It's definitely on my radar. It won't be soon, but certainly a Game Pass type option. Maybe any final points from you? I know it's early on. You've said you're only a few hours in, but a score? Where are you sitting?
It's probably sitting up around that sort of 7.5 at the moment. I need more time to get back into it. It can get a little bit samey after a while, just sort of mashing those buttons. But I think as I unlock more of the special moves and stuff, and the combat suite opens up, kind of like how Diablo sort of locks you off from a lot of the stuff early on. Yeah. And as you build up that sort of combat suite, then it becomes more fun. So I think, I could see it pushing to an 8 if that was the case.
Nice one, man. Great work. All right, then. Moving on to Game 5, another previously PlayStation and now on Xbox. I've gone hands-on today with Ghostwire Tokyo. This game, I honestly think looks better on the PS5. Most of it's fine. There's just a little bit. I've turned off the film grain in this footage, but it still looks to me like it's on about 10%. There's still, and it wasn't there on the PlayStation. On the PlayStation, once you turn off that film grain, the picture looked really crisp, but I don't know if you can just see it there. There's just a little something on there. It just looks a little like the lens needs a wipe. Which is a ridiculous statement. And the other thing you've got to call this out, the flame effects. If you see it here somewhere, there's a car on fire. Once again, we had it, I'm blanking on what game it was recently, but the flames are running at 10 frames a second. I do not know what's going on with the Xbox Series X and flame effects. What's that recently? It's like everything else looks phenomenal, and then you get to a fire, and it's... I was bloody... Resi 4. Resi 4's flame effects had the exact same issue. I don't know what it is about flame effects on the Xbox, but it just, whatever method they're using to render fire at the minute, it is not up to scratch at all. And it seriously looks last gen, the flame on Xbox. I don't know what's going on. But that aside, Absolutely fantastic game. And yet again, another one where switching over to the Elite Series 2 controller on the Xbox, it is so much easier on the hands to play. Once again, like, I love this game, and you know me, man. I put so many hours into it, loved it, backed it up, broke my fingers on it. But I did, once again, it was one of those ones I had to put down. I couldn't play for more than an hour 20 before my fingers wouldn't work the next day. But this, I pounded an hour into it this morning, and look, they're fine. So I absolutely love it. Best implementation from a controller standpoint. Now, I love the DualSense 5, but it is so punishing. But even this, pulling off the effects and the wires and the whoa, it's still awesome. Like, even though it doesn't have that high-end rumble that the DualSense has got, the Elite Series, you know, it's got the rumble feedback and it's enough. It does the trick, you know. You're playing it, you're pulling the hearts out of the ghosts and bang, you're like, yes, nailed it. My question, Unky, for you, I couldn't remember what it was. What was it with the controller settings? Was it the camera, the sensitivity, the dead zone the acceleration of the thumbsticks? Is that what we had to ramp up to 100 to get it right? I can't remember.
I can't remember the setting. I think it was specific settings. I can't think it was 100. I think there was all different settings you had to set everything to. So if you just look it up online, you'll be able to find what those settings are. But they definitely are a game changer with this game. Now, the question I want to ask, though, is did you go, this is obviously the newer version of the game, and it's got a new mode in it. Did you play any, I think it's like a wave-based kind of mode. Did you play any of that at all?
No, I just went hands-on with the story. But just to finish off the controller thing, man, I knew that we had to tweak the controller on the PS5 to get it to play. I didn't go into this. I didn't change one controller setting, and I played it, and it played beautifully. Okay. So my suspicion is whatever everyone did to their controllers on the PS5 version is now the default. They must have patched it since like it came out on the Xbox as version 1.8. So I think they must have updated on the PlayStation to have the good controls be the default, and then that's what's happened with the port. So you can just pick it up and play it now. You don't have to tweak anything.
Yeah, gotcha.
It just works
that's beautifully.
Good. So I love it. Nice. And it looks fantastic. Like, this version of Tokyo is phenomenal. Just a shame when you see something on fire. That's why I only knock against it. It just came into Game Pass. So if you've got an Xbox Series X, if you're if you're a Game Pass subscriber, go hands-on with this game. The story's top-notch. Can you remember, Unky, how many hours was it? Just if you went just through the main, if you weren't trying to go for the platinum, but if you just wanted to see through the story.
I reckon maybe about around 15-hour mark, I think.
Oh, okay. I was going to say it was 30, but there you go. Maybe it was 30 for me.
I think if you're not, depends if you're doing the side content. If you're just doing the main campaign, I think about 15 hours.
Yeah, right. Well, if you're on Xbox and Game Pass and you're not interested in this game, I say go hands-on with it, because I was such a doubter before I played it. But as soon as I played it with the controllers updated, but you don't need to do it here. Once you play, it's really something else. And it doesn't, I'm watching this footage now and I'm like, this doesn't really look like my kind of game. But I absolutely love it. Like, you're like, magic and casting spells. What is this, Harry Potter? No. When you go hands-on, when you're behind the controller, this game is absolutely phenomenal. If you're on Xbox, do me a favor. Install it and play it. It's a thing of beauty. Not enough people play this game, and nowhere near enough people sing its praises, whom should be. Unky, any questions? What have I missed?
Oh, okay. I don't think you missed much at all. I just think, it's one of those games that I had a lot of haters sort of when it came out. And I'm not entirely sure why. It's obviously not what most people wanted out of that developer, but I think what they did was something unique and different. It feels like playing as Doctor Strange, and there's not many other games out there that you're playing a first-person shooter where you're casting spells and doing this kind of weird shit with ghosts. I just thought it was something unique and fun for the time. And as you said, I think there's too many naysayers out there. So especially now, you've got no reason not to play it if you're on Xbox and got Game Pass. Give it a go.
Yeah, and oh gosh, now I'm playing Question Without Notice. Is this now available in like a high tier of PlayStation Plus as well?
I feel like it might be.
I reckon I read
it is. No, it definitely is.
So there you go. If you're on PlayStation and you were put off by the naysayers, go hands-on with, Ghostwire Tokyo. Go hands-on. This game is phenomenal. Massive thumbs up from me, and it looks and it runs beautifully. Just forgive them for the fire effects. All right, moving along. It's over to you, Unky, for one of my new favourite VR games. Wait a minute, Unky, how have you gone hands-on with After the Fall?
Oh, Troy, well, I may have got me little hands on a PlayStation VR 2, finally.
We broke him, ladies and gentlemen. It took us 4 weeks, but we got him over the line.
I do have to say, though, Bully did say that, my missus is probably going to throw a shoe at me, but instead she was the one that threw the PSVR 2 at me for an Easter present. So there you go, Bully. Don't want to say it, but my wife's better than yours.
Next week's Standoff.
I like it. I like it. But no, I would touch on Horizon, but we've spoken about it. I do really enjoy Horizon, but let's talk about something new because this is something new that I'd played on the Oculus and I wanted to see what it was like on the PlayStation VR with sort of bumped up graphics and all that kind of jazz. And I was really impressed. Like my initial reaction was, oh, it doesn't look a whole lot different. But then by the time you go into the darker areas and you've actually got a torch on your gun, which doesn't appear in the Oculus game because clearly they can't do it. But the way that casts shadows and stuff in the dark, I really enjoy that look and the way the game looks and feels. And I was a massive fan of Back for Blood sort of last year, playing it sort of a bit later than a lot of other people, but really enjoyed that. And this is essentially the VR version of that. I think I would love to play this co-op. I think playing it solo is not bad. The bots aren't too bad on the easy difficulties. I got to the end of the first level and almost beat the final boss, which is you fight a couple of big guys and you fight the one massive guy at the end.
Level?
Yeah.
You couldn't beat the end boss?
No. So
am I better than you in a game?
Wait. What depends. What difficulty did you have it on? The easiest?
Whatever the default was. I didn't go in.
Yeah, so I think it starts off as the easiest side. Because I'd finished the level on the Oculus on the easiest level, I'll bump it up a bit. So I did get to the end, but I'll tell you why I failed to the final boss. So there was me and one other guy left, and the other guys had been killed. I was getting close to beating him, and I didn't realise that being close to my TV with the with the PlayStation VR 2, sometimes the reflection from the TV can cause your PSVR 2 to stop tracking you properly because the reflection coming off and it messes with the tracking. Mm-hmm. So I had a tracking issue literally as the guy was coming towards me.
Are you back to the monitor or front to the monitor? Like your camera's
I was doing your thing where I put my back to it, but I think I was standing a little bit too close. And I didn't have you can put extra tracking mode on, which puts a border around your TV, which stops a lot of that glare coming off it. Or you can just turn your TV off. I think that might work as well, but it may or may not stop the glare coming off it. So I've got to make sure when I play, I've got lights on and I'm stepped a little bit further forward.
My hack to that, I know exactly the problem you're talking about with the tracking. My hack to that is to turn on the studio lights and it's fine. I just have the room super bright and it works beautifully. And the thing that the headset unit blacks it out beautifully. I'm in a really well-lit studio and I can't see a goddamn thing. It's perfect.
And that's one thing I love about the headset. And so I don't think we've actually spoken about it, but having it on your face, I just love the way it adjusts. Like you put it on the back of your head as opposed to the top of your head, and then you can slide the thing forward and back to your eyes. And I think that takes a lot of pressure and like weight off your actual face. So it's more comfortable to play for longer periods of time, which I really enjoy.
Yep.
And the eye tracking is really cool. I'll speak briefly on that just with the Horizons, being able to track your eyes, looking at menus. It was just like, whoa, this is kind of cool.
Yeah.
But speaking of this game, I think it's cool. I think it's got a great loop where you can go through, you start off with your pistol and you can upgrade it and get laser sights and ammo tracking. And then what you do, you've got to play through these things to unlock more currency, to get more guns, kind of like you do with Back for Blood, and unlock a better arsenal. So I can't wait to sort of get through. I managed to get through one of the hidden doors in this level. You find a key card. You go,
I picked up that key card and I'm like, where is it? And I couldn't work out where to put it and I gave up.
Yeah, so if you backtrack just down one of the hallways there's a little card swiper. So you swipe the card in that there and you go in and you got a machine gun in there.
I moved forward. I'm like, this will be up ahead of me somewhere. Where is it? And I was looking everywhere. I kept it with me. I had a health file. You can see in the back of my wrist there, it's that you can only store one item, right? I'm not crazy.
One on each wrist, I think.
Oh, I should have put it on the other wrist. I put the disc in.
Yeah, the disc.
Oh, the disc's more important than the key card. I'll keep the disc.
Yeah, so I'll make sure, I swapped out the key card. Once I got the key, I went back and picked up, I think, a health file for one and the disc in the other to finish the level with the disc. So, although I didn't really finish the level because I got killed by that stupid thing as my tracking went down. So, that was very frustrating. So, I've had enough for now. I've done the whole level, so...
The process there, because I didn't die when I played it. So what's the restart like? Does it put you back to the last safe house, or do you're out of the level altogether?
I think you're out of the level altogether, but you do get all your progress, all the stuff you've got in that, all your experience you've unlocked. You still get that. You just don't get the end game bonus stuff. So I don't think I get the disc or anything like that. I think you have to get that to the end of the level to actually unlock it.
Yeah, right. Yeah. It says that when you put it, because there's a disc in. I put a disc in both safe rooms when I got to them, and both times it said, finish the level to unlock this blueprint or whatever.
Yeah, but it's just such a fun. It's so fun to have these guys running at you. It's chaotic, and it's like, you can, even if something's on the ground, you can just pull a bullet and shoot its little head, and you'll see its brain move, and the haptics and the stuff through the controls, I think, are really cool. I think that's one of the main differences between playing this and playing on the Oculus is the feel of the controllers and the way you've got the triggers. Just like the dual senses, you're pulling them, you actually feel like you're pulling, a gun, and you've got the headset that will vibrate in your head if you get hit by a
Yeah.
zombie and stuff. It's a really fun game. So I know I've been talking it up, since the Oculus. I want to hear what your thoughts are on the game.
I love it, mate. You nailed it off the bat when you said this is Back for Blood in VR. It is, and I love Back for Blood, and this thing had me jumping this morning. I played this because I had access to it. The developer sent me the key 3 weeks ago. I think they sent it to me at launch, and I just hadn't done anything with it. So today I did the install, and then I'm playing it. I'm like, oh, why haven't I been playing this? I love Back for Blood. I love the game. It's horde mode or whatever zombies coming at you. It's fun. And I love the ones that jump up on the roof, like the lickers from RE2. That was taking a shot at those. That was great. But it looks phenomenal. And to me, going through right here in this corridor through the apartment building, I thought I was inside The Last of Us. I'm like, oh my God, how good would The Last of Us be in VR? And this looks as good as you need it to. Like they could do The Last of Us this level, and it would be something so special. But I absolutely love this game. I can't wait to go through it. I finished level 1, and then I noticed in the trophies it said I was 25. Not in the trophies, excuse me. On the dashboard, how it gives you the progress.
Oh, yeah.
That's kind of a new one. But it said I'm 25% through the game. So is there only 4 levels?
I'm not 100% sure on levels. I know there's different game modes that have different levels in it, so I'm not sure what that percentage actually is. Yeah. I'll have to look it up, but I mean, the level's pretty long as well, so I think if the levels continue to go on as the distance they are, then I'm not going to have too much issues with that, especially if it's all about going back through the levels and unlocking different guns to play those levels, especially with friends, and playing on the harder difficulties to unlock all that stuff. I could see it being a good, fun grind of a game.
Yeah. I'm not complaining at all, but I'm like, only 4 levels. I'm hoping there's DLC coming to purchase. Like, I absolutely love the way it's implemented. To your point, man, and I haven't played many games with guns. Like, what is there? There's Horizon. It doesn't have a gun, but I mean, it's got a bow and the thing. But there's a gun in Village, and there's another one. And this, I think there's only 3 I've played with the gun. I'm blanking on what the second one is. But this has the best implementation of the trigger pull, and the feel is just, they have absolutely nailed the way, the pull on the gun and the way it goes off is perfect. I love the reload mechanic. I've got it set to, what is it, a 50%?
I was going to ask that. Have you got the manual? You've got it set to the manual reload.
I love it. My only complaint with it and question to you is this: I feel like I'm pulling the ammo off from the other side, and I want it to be on the, like, if my gun's in my right hand, I want the clips to be coming out of my left hand, but my left hand has to go across to my right side to do it. Is there a way to change that? It feels really cumbersome. I wish I could just go bang,
Yeah, I'm not sure. I've actually played on the manual mode. I've been playing on just the mode where you can just chop your mag, but I should play the manual mode.
It's so much more immersive.
Bump. Yeah,
but even if it wasn't the extra bump, it's that immersion. It feels so good. It's so much more believable. The way it looks like now, I've only seen this one level, but you can see there, like, you're on the rooftop, but they've fogged it in. I understand, like, we don't need to render it if it's fogged in. I understand it's resource management, but I would love to see this in a more open level. I know we're in the snow, and I can't imagine we get away from the snow ever, but once again, it had me thinking about The Last of Us. I'm like, oh, imagine like that. The scene on the way into Billstown with the water tower.
Yes.
How good would that look if you were playing that in this? But this game absolutely lit me up. As you can see here, this is the boss fight Unky was talking about. This is the end of that first level. As I said, it took me an hour to get through. It might have even been an hour 10. But yeah, that mightn't be the final guy there, but he does show up in a second. But there, those 2 blokes with the big guns. A lot of fun. And it's that constant tension of, even if, and there's the music cues, like, the music's revving up, here we go, boys, and then it backs off again. But even once it's backed off, I'm still jacked up. And where are they coming from? I'm looking, waiting for those jumps. But I played it with the AI and I loved it. But mate, I cannot wait to go hands-on with you. Like, this is going to go up another tier for me when we're in the game and we're able to communicate easier. Because I found it's like half the time it felt like the AI were grouped up together, but in the wrong spot. Like, this would be so better if I was able to be like side by side with Unky, and we're like, you go that way, I'll go this way, and like progress through. It'd be so cool. I cannot wait to play this with you, man.
Mate, we're going to have to do it real soon as well, because, I got that vibe playing through it. I just need someone else that's not AI, just so we can talk through it and strategize and stuff. I think it's going to be so much fun.
And I love it, because Bully's got it as well, mate. All 3 of us are
going to
go here. Yeah. Bully's got it as well. So all 3 of us are going to be able to go hands-on. That is going to be one heck of an epic time playing. And the other thing that I'm looking forward to, I haven't gone hands-on with in this game yet, I've only got the pistol so far. I finished this level and then went back to the main, social hub world.
Yeah.
Oh, remind me to come back to that point. And I went in and I'd got the disc for the second gun. I don't know what it's called.
Nice.
So I unlocked the second gun, but it's a pistol. But I'm looking forward to getting an assault rifle or a shotgun or something in this. I'm like, because you see, old mate there, one of the AI companions has got a shotgun. And I tried to pull it off him, and he wouldn't give it to me. Give me a gun.
Mate, just replay this level and use the key card. You'll get a feel of an early feel of one of the assault rifles, if you like.
Nice. And on screen there, you can see that this is the end boss that Unky was talking about, where, standard boss fight mechanics, but, you shoot one limb or whatever and you weaken. He's got two different attacks with each arm, and you shoot one of his arms off and that attack's gone, shoot the other attack off, his other attack's gone, shoot his leg out, he slows down. All the standard mechanics, but in VR, jacks me up, gets my heart racing. I cannot recommend this game enough. If you've got PSVR 2 and you love your shooters, no reason not to get this game. Go hands-on. Now, back to the social hub. The thing I wanted to say, okay, is I was mucking around in there, and I'm like, what? Like, I know I'm in the social hub, and I know I'm looking at other people in PSVR units, or, cross-play's enabled, so maybe they're in the Oculus or whatever. But I'm like, why are they all, like, crouching down?
I did the same thing. I did. I didn't know it either.
I worked it out.
Here?
I worked out what it was.
What is it?
Because I went back to capture the hub world. I missed capturing the hub world when I got this footage for the game, so I went back to the top. Anyway, I went back in, but I was sitting on this couch with the thing on, and I'm like, oh, this is why people are doing it. It's people in the seated position. But if you're in the seated position, but you've got it set to standing, it doubles you over and you walk around like this. So that's what's going on. It's people sitting down with standing mode. Jeez, it looks funny when they do it.
I'm glad you figured it out, because I had no idea. Like, everyone I looked at was just sitting down. Like, what is going on? I don't even know if you can crouch in this game.
I know. It's so funny. But
good work.
It's fantastic, mate. And yes, book me in for a play date. Let's get it to happen.
Awesome.
Let's get a live Let's Play. We're going to rope Bully in as well. Bully, shout out to you, sir. Let us know when you're not on the night shifts and running 16-hour days in your real job. And we'll get some fun times happening in After the Fall. Love it from me. 2 big thumbs up. Unky Dunky, final thoughts from you?
2 thumbs up as well for this one. This is a ripper time in VR.
Yes, it is. Absolutely. All right, then. Moving on to Star Wars Tales from the Galaxy's Edge. This is me and another PSVR 2 classic. I love it. Look, it starts off and there's a bar and you can play the space drums or whatever. I don't know what they call them. But I don't know if anyone's visual out there. I won't say what I was playing, but if you can wind back that footage and tell me what classic song I was playing, full credit to you. You know what? I'm going to break out a game key if anyone can tell me what that was, because there's no way to hear what I was doing. You've got to work it out from visually. But if you can tell me what that was, I'm going to send you a game key. That's open to anyone out there watching. And so the main hub of this game is in this bar with, I don't know, old mate's name here, and he hands you a drink. But like the other quest givers come into the bar and you meet them at the bar. It's just a really cool mechanic. It's kind of like the tower, in Destiny 2.
Yep.
But this place does cool. But check this out as I'm walking. I know you're on a bit of a delay, man. But you go up and you're in the bar, and I just walked over to the window at one point and looked out and was floored when the Millennium Falcon was just parked outside the window. It lit me up. The young Star Wars character in me was just so lit up. Oh, there it is, the Millennium Falcon. I'm like, oh, let me on it. I just want, if they just let me walk down and around, I've got no idea. I haven't looked online to see if it's a thing, but I'm like, the exterior character model is in this game. I hope at some point I get to just mosey on through. That would be a young man's dream fulfilled. But yeah, here you go. You can see it. So this is the second quest. The weird alien dude comes into the bar, flicks you a tablet and starts briefing you, and then you just exit out and you walk to wherever the activity takes place. Pretty standard fare, think Destiny 2, but the hub's a bar. It's cool. The bartender tells you some crazy stories. The laser blasters are cool. I've always wanted to shoot a laser blaster in Star Wars, so this is that dream realized. And the way the belt and everything works, like you can pick weapons up and holster them and then pick up 2 other ones, so you can like shoot through, they can overheat, you throw them down, then you draw your other 2 and keep shooting. So much fun. This was the other game I was blanking on. This is it, Star Wars for the shooting, of course. My God, how did I miss that? But After the Fall does it better. But this game is fantastic. So many dreams realized. There's the introduction level, how to crouch and the basic mechanics of the game takes place in space on just a freighter ship. But it's so Star Wars. The Star Wars fan in me was drooling. Ace, I know you're a big Star Wars fan, man. Come round to the studio and play this. It lit me up anyway. I absolutely loved it. So cool. If you're a Star Wars fan and have PSVR 2, you absolutely have to play this game. Real gem. I read some reviews online where they were saying, I'm only into, so this is the enhanced edition that came out on the PlayStation VR 2. As I understand the base game, Star Wars Tales from the Galaxy's Edge on Oculus. Yeah, on Oculus when it came out, it got really bad review, like 4s, I think, out of 10 sort of thing. People were like, it's boring story and boring whatever and whatever. But then the updated reviews for the enhanced edition, which is available on this, is talking about how there's all these extra missions on at the end, and they're far more Star Warsy, and there's a lot more going on apparently. So once you play through the basic whatever original Oculus campaign was that apparently people didn't like, I'm loving my time with it, but other people, reviewers generally didn't like it. But apparently the back half is all the extra DLC content where they put in way more love and care and it feels more Star Warsy. But this already to me feels ultra Star Warsy. I love it. Unky, I don't know you to be the biggest Star Wars fan, so I wouldn't recommend this as a purchase to you, but I do encourage you to come around at some point and at least go hands-on with it, man. It is a unique PSVR 2 experience.
No, I'm a Star Wars fan. I've been looking at this as a possibility. I want you to tell me, percentage-wise, what's the percentage of this kind of awesome, kind of cool gunplay stuff compared to the story stuff we're just sort of walking around not doing a whole lot? What would you say the percentage is?
I would say it's 75% gunplay. It is predominantly gunplay. There's, there's the small interstitials where you've got to go back to the tower or the bar and, pick up your next quest. But even there, they've got, the drums you can play and you can look out the Millennium Falcon and stuff. And there's characters talking Star Warsy stuff. So it's cool. You're still immersed in the universe. But then, it's predominantly, from what I've played so far, I'm only a couple of hours in, but it's almost a corridor shooter. It's obviously you're outdoor, but it's all cliff faces and it's pretty narrow corridors. But it's laser blasters up a corridor. It's fun any day of the week, in my opinion.
Yeah, I'm liking what I'm seeing with this combat. I might have to give it a go. I'm not sure what the price is at the moment. It might be a little bit.
$75 Australian dollars.
Oh.
I would recommend it immediately. If it was 50, 75 is a high end for what it is.
Especially when sort of other games are a little bit cheaper in that VR space, which I'm having just as much fun with. I think the next game that I'm about to talk about with gunplay and stuff is really good as well. But I'm really liking what I'm seeing here. I just think it looks great. Graphically, it looks great, obviously, on the stream because stuff always looks better on a pancake screen than it does in VR. What would you say this looks like compared to After the Fall graphically?
I would say they're pretty darn close, man. After the Fall's probably just got the edge on them because this is so Star Warsy and the Star Wars films, you can look at it and see the difference between, that's how it would look in the film and this is a step down from the film.
Gotcha.
So you've got that comparison to make. But honestly, I'd say it's on par with After the Fall. But After the Fall, I've got no preconceived notions of what it should look like, so I don't feel like I'm missing anything. Whereas you might see it here, I'm about to glance out and look over the skyline to the left. It's just I'm on a different planet. There's moons and stuff. But you look out and you're like, ooh, that is a bit of a low res skybox.
Okay.
The Star Wars, it looks and feels Star Warsy, but every now and then you're like, oh, that texture's a bit low res.
Yeah, so I think it's a much older game. I know After the Fall was built again, ground up for the PSVR 2, just to sort of take advantage of it, whereas this probably more fits under the line of a port, I reckon.
Yeah, I would agree with that assertion, mate. But as I said, it's the complete edition, all the extra DLC, what have you, from the Oculus version. Yeah, you can't see it on the stream there, but you can see that you're looking at a low-res skybox off in the distance there when you've got the headset on. Everything up close looks fantastic, but it's the backgrounds, the immersion, the full world that leaves a little bit to be desired. As I said, it's $75, unless you're a diehard Star Wars fan. I know I am. Ace, if Ace had a PSVR 2 unit, I'd say no question, go buy it. But I haven't heard you singing Star Wars praise. I'm not denying your fandom, sir. I just haven't heard you talk it up in the way that I've heard other people talk up Star Wars in the past. To those people, to the diehard Star Wars fans, I say no question at $75. But if you're if you're a sometimes Star Wars fan, I'd say hold off to 50 or even 25 maybe. But fantastic game. I love the implementation.
Awesome. Yeah, well, it looks like a wait for a sale for me, but I definitely will be giving this a go once it drops a little bit.
As I said, mate, you're welcome over anytime. Play it for free over here in the studio. But the final game, Game 8 this evening, is over to you, sir, for the game I'm yet to play, Zombieland PSVR 2. Tell me things.
Zombieland Headshot Fever is one that I'd always seen sort of on the Oculus and sort of I'd seen middling reviews about it because I do obviously prefer the VR games where you're sort of walking around, you got a bit more stuff to do. And I thought maybe it's time just to play a game where I don't actually have to move around because you can start to feel a little bit sick playing some of those games after a while where you are just sort of moving around constantly. Whereas this one, you are sort of on rails per se, a bit like Time Crisis, but this game makes you feel like John Wick, just like Pistol Whip does, but it's with zombies. Like they put you in these awesome scenarios, great sort of art style now with this. Like they changed the art style completely for the PSVR 2 version of this game.
It reminds me of 13. Does it look like that in the
Yeah, it's a little bit, yeah. So it's very cel shaded now. I think it works really well for the attitude this game is sort of bringing as well. Like the Oculus version is a bit more sort of realistic, but obviously doesn't look the best. So that realism sort of goes, away a little bit. Whereas using an art style like this, which is more timeless, I think works for this game a lot better, and it sort of makes it stand apart from a lot of the other shooters out there. But I'm having so much fun with this game. They put you in these like small little levels where you start off with your pistol, and if you get 2 headshots straight away, time slows down, which means you can take out the other zombies that are coming towards you. You've got different kinds of zombies in there. You've got the all the different ones from the movie. Trying to think of the Homer, which is the gentle, big, fat one that doesn't really harm you. You're just chasing a butterfly, but you actually get penalised if you shoot a Homer. So you've got to not shoot them. But there's later on you can unlock different perks where if you shoot a Homer, it doesn't matter. Or you can have like extra ammo in your secondary weapon. They've got target practice where you've got to try and kind of like the Resident Evil 4 stuff where you've got to hit targets fast or accurate, and you can unlock toilet paper so you get your TP. So toilet paper is what you do, is your currency essentially in the game. If you shoot a zombie double headshot, whatever, toilet paper will jump out. If you shoot that toilet paper, it adds it to your toilet paper list. You use that toilet paper to upgrade your guns and unlock new weapons and all that kind of stuff with what's his face? What's the main actor's name? Woody Harrelson's character. So he's your weapons dealer, and you've got all the different Tallahassee and all that from the game as well.
So can you pick those 4 characters to play as, or you would
character and
with those guys?
Yeah, so you're just a different character. You're interacting with those characters. This new guy, part of this zombie apocalypse, and you're sort of working your way up to have the go for the trophy that they have in the game at the end, which is the hardest difficulty that you're going to play. But I'm having so much fun with this. You can dual wield like the small shotgun, or you can have a Uzi and you've got your pistol in one hand, but you can double hand those guns anytime for more accuracy. So it's really cool to sort of bring up both controls in your hand, and you'll grip the handle like one. You really feel like John Wick just popping off headshots and working your way through these levels. Like the way it works is once you're sort of clear an area, it'll give you a little sort of blue line. You just got to, as you can see on the screen now, you just sort of stare at it, and it'll know your eyes are looking at it, and it'll automatically zip you over there. You don't have to press anything. In terms of
I do not like teleporting in VR though. Is there a way to turn it off?
No, because it's part of the game. Like they put you in scenarios, you do all your shooting, and then you go to the next area, then you do your shooting. This is the only time I like teleporting. If there's an option where it's walking through a level or teleporting, and that's the way the game's supposed to be, I'll pick walking every day of the week. But the way this game is sort of more of a time crisis type shoot house where it just feels fun to shoot stuff in cool scenarios and cool humor and cool art style. It's really fun. It's something different. Like I think if it was more similar to something like After the Fall, then I'd just play After the Fall. But because it's something different, you can flick between the two and have completely different tastes in gaming. It doesn't really matter. You're going to have fun in both titles for different reasons. And I really like that about this. You can just jump in. You are sort of chasing a better score, a faster time through each level, and it does unlock different things. So I've already found myself going back through, the very first level after playing some of the harder levels to see if I can nail that and I can get through really quick now, get your S rank and stuff. Just like Resident Evil, you got your A, B, C, S ranks for levels, and it's all comes on accuracy and style and all that stuff. How much toilet paper you can hit, different kills you can do by like shooting different things in the environment to take them out. You've got guys that are throwing things at you. If you shoot the thing out of the sky, that'll slow down time as well. There's just so many different mechanics in this thing. It's just so much fun to play, and as I said, it just makes you feel like John Wick shooting zombies. It's
nice.
It's something to behold. I think you'd really have a lot of fun with this one as well, even if you don't like this and the teleportation mechanics.
Yeah, that's my hesitation. And looking at this, comparing this to Star Wars, like Star Wars is very corridor, even though it's outdoors. This feels very corridor as well. Does it feel confined when you're in it, or does it just look that way on screen now?
It kind of just looks that way, but that's kind of what it is. Like if you just see it as like essentially time crisis, but a little bit more interactive is what it is. It's essentially just that. Crisis. but it's just the feedback you get from the guns and the way the sound effects all work, the headshot noise you get. It's fun to play,
Yeah.
and that's all I can really say. Like, it's a good pick up and play. You don't really have to think about it too much. There's sort of no multiplayer stuff. It's just get in there, have a good time, and yeah, it's got so much replayability value. That's what I really like about this game, and the fact that it doesn't make you feel sick. I think anyone can jump in this. You can play it seated, standing. You don't really have to move too much playing it. Reloading is easy, flicking down on the joystick, and then just moving your gun into a sort of circle that's surrounding your waist where your ammo belt would be, then bringing it back up again, just so it can be as quick as possible. So it's really got that pistol whip, quick gunplay,
Yeah.
fun that game's known for. So no, I still think you'd have a lot of fun with this one.
How's this? Sorry, just a small aside because you said Pistol Whip. I finished the campaign in Pistol Whip. There's 2 campaigns that I've seen.
Yeah.
I finished the second one, no trophy. What's going on there?
Oh, that sucks. That's another good thing. You mentioned trophies. Playing these games that I've played on Oculus, but actually popping proper trophies as opposed to just the Oculus ones is a real blast. Just playing all this stuff, even just playing After the Fall and getting the achievement, but it's not just an Oculus achievement; it's actually a trophy. I'm like, this is what I'm here for.
Yeah, well, I loved it in After the Fall. 2 separate occasions. I got 3 trophies in a row. I finished the intro bit, 3 trophies. Finished the first level, 3 trophies, and I'm like, now this is generous. I'm appreciating this.
But no, definitely with this one, I reckon if you can try and get a code or anything, if you don't want to fork out the cash, Troy. But
I've already asked the question and I got the big bum.
Oh no, that's all right. I mean, as I said, it's worth the money.
Was it 44 yams? Do you recall?
Yeah, I think it's around that. It's not the most expensive game, and I was lucky enough that Oculus actually had a demo of the game as well, so you could just install the demo for free. So I actually played that the same day I got this, and that was enough to say I had the little fella actually playing it, and I was like, actually looks kind of fun. So I jumped in there, had a look at it, and I'm like, this is enough to know that if I'd had a look at some of the PSVR 2 stuff and see what they'd done with the gameplay and the art style and stuff. I really enjoyed that, as we've already said tonight. Love the Sifu kind of graphics with the cell shading and stuff. This has got that, and it's got the gameplay as well, chops to back it up. So, no, a lot of fun.
Nice. Do you have a feel for it lengthwise? Is there 30 campaigns? Is there 8 campaigns? Missions, I mean, sorry.
I think there's 3 missions per character and per difficulty. So that's 4 characters, so 3, 6, 12 levels, I think.
Yeah, okay.
And
they get
short, longer.
You said? Are they
yeah, some aren't the longest. So some are pretty short, but that's the whole idea of the game, I think, is to try and speedrun these things and get better and better. And you kind of see yourself, even when you're not playing anymore, you go to bed and you just try and envision yourself going through those levels and where you could be faster and stuff. It's just got that addictive sort of flavor to it, which I really enjoy.
Yeah, nice. I respect it. Next time I've got some free cash, it's definitely on the short list of games I've got my eye on. That's fantastic, mate. Great work. Now, we are due to kick in a newsroom door, but I must active reload before then. Any objections?
No, go for it.
All right, when I can find a button, there it was. We'll be right back, ladies and gentlemen. You have the right to remain newsworthy. I'm not sure why that screen hasn't caught up. What's going on? Oh, I know exactly what's happened there. Hey, Unky, vamp for me for a second.
We're up to the news. I've kicked in 8 doors this evening, and we're going up with news story number 1. I will start before Troy gets going. We are news story 1. Footage of Jet Set Radio Future, or Jet Set Radio and Persona 3 remakes has seemingly leaked. This comes from VGC. Numerous sites have stepped forward to suggest the footage is real. So Twitter user Av2Go Game No Yami posted a video on Sunday which shows Yukari from Persona 3 firing magical arrows in the footage. It looks more detailed than Persona 3 usually does. This is followed by early preview footage of Sonic Frontiers, so it's getting a bit old now where this footage came out, and then there was also some footage of looks like one of the main characters from Jet Set Radio Future as well. So whether this is actually going to come to fruition or whether it was just stuff that's already hit the cutting room floor, I am unsure, but it's definitely, for me, Jet Set Radio, I enjoyed back in the day. I'm sure there's a lot of people that are very much looking forward to getting their hands on this one again. If it does come to fruition, I mean, obviously playing stuff like Hi-Fi Rush that came out this year with this art style and that kind of gameplay, I think if they can elevate this game into that as well, then I think we're going to have something special on our hands, especially with the next-gen version of the game looking as pretty as it does in that cell shading, as I've already spoken about multiple times tonight. I could really see this game taking off and being something fun to play. Again, I'm not sure how much fun we can have with a spray painting game with nothing else going on, but if they can sort of get some of that mechanics and the rollerblading and get a bit Tony Hawk about it, I think that could be a lot of fun. And Persona 3, I haven't played Persona 3. I think a remake would be massive for a lot of people out there, especially if it gets brought into the new stage of our PS5s and Xbox Series X's. But out of those two, I'd probably be more excited for Jet Set Radio, but I think the majority are probably going to be in the Persona bandwagon. What about you, Troy?
Yes, Jet Set Radio for me every day of the week, no question. I'm not the world's biggest Persona fan, but and now you may have just said this, I apologize, I was slightly distracted by fixing the layout, but didn't Sega like last week announce like a developer direct type press conference, like an online developer direct, state of play type thing, like in a month? I feel like they said, in a month we're going to have one for you, and then I'm seeing this, I'm like, well, is this the contents of that?
Well, potentially, but the weird thing is they did show Sonic stuff in it, but I know they're planning on maybe some more Sonic stuff as well. So, but it did look like Sonic Frontiers, so I'm not 100% sure whether this was old footage that was in an old cut for something of a show that was going to happen and just didn't, or whatever, or it's just been data mined. I don't know. But the fact that footage is out there and it does seemingly look like it's real means these games are either in development or at least were at some point. So, yeah. I dare say, come E3 time, rest in peace, Summer Games Fest time, that you may see these sort of games sort of pop up as, either Game Pass stuff with like day one, kind of like a Hi-Fi Rush did to us, and out of nowhere, we're going to show you these games that are available today. I think they've got kind of that sort of look about them, I think. So I don't think we're going to hear about them and have to wait for them. I think they're going to be announced and then come out straight away.
I'll go out on a limb and dare suggest that maybe a Jet Set Radio stealth drop in a month when they do that Sega Developer Direct type event. I reckon that's what's on the cards here. Any other points, or should we move on to Story 2?
Story 2.
Speaking of awesome games...
Story 2. It's already made its way into the Tonight Show. That's how good it is. But Hi-Fi Rush has added the Bully mode, which... is making the game easier for Bully to finish because he still can't get past the door boss, which is I still don't know how he can't do that. It's bewilders me.
I can't even picture the door he's stuck on.
I know the exact door he's stuck on, and I cannot fathom how he cannot do it. Anyway, that's besides the point. This Hi-Fi Rush simplifies pairing with new accessibility features. A new collectible counter has also been added too, which is great because that was one of my little gripes that I had was hard to know what levels you needed to find what collectibles in. So apart from starting a brand new game and trying to go for all of them, this is going to make it much easier to do that. So I think I might find myself going back and playing a bit more Hi-Fi Rush. But they've also made it easier to do some of the parrying and combo stuff. I think now it used to be pretty hard or easy to fail some of those moments if you didn't hit the parry button at the right time or the right button at the right time. You get 100%.
I've got a lot of experience failing those moments in Hi-Fi Rush.
But now I think if you chuck on the accessibility mode, they give you a 70%. You only have to get about 70% of it correct. So if you stuff up, it's not like a hard fail this time. So I think that's really good for someone that might be struggling, Bully, in this game. That they might actually be able to get through it now. And I think it's great to add this stuff because I think as much as you'd love to play a game in its purest state and finish it, like I did with Sifu and didn't chuck it on easy to finish it, it takes away from some of the game. But I think...
No, it doesn't.
I think I think for putting this stuff in and then making the game finishable for some of those people that might have fallen off it or do find it too
Yeah,
difficult or just cannot do those things with their hands on a controller, because let's face it, some of those things are really hard to do, and especially in this day and age with so much flashing things on a screen going at any given time, and only so many things your hands can do in a controller at any given time. Just adding these accessibility options just makes it more user friendly for everyone out there, and a great game like this just makes it even better because you're going to get a lot more people finishing it.
definitely. Now, I think there's no secret that I get slightly obsessive over some things and put more time into them than I should. Returnal, I'm looking squarely at you on this one. But I could feel Hi-Fi Rush doing that to me. I know if I didn't have my obsessive nature, there is no way I would have finished Hi-Fi Rush. I was stuck at a point before where Bully bounced off it. And it was just one of the generators. What was the generators? You got to hit him like 3 times on the beat or something.
Yeah.
But it was like the first one of those. I think for me it was like an hour and a half in, but I think for you it was about 45 minutes in. You came across it and you just walked straight on through it. But I was stuck there hardcore for an hour, and if not for my obsessive nature, just like, it's not going to beat me. I'm going to stand here and pound away at it. I eventually got through it and then moved on, but I had to call on that sort of resilience so many times to get through the campaign. I think I eventually finished it in about 20 hours. What were you, a 12-hour run or something, I think you said?
Yeah, I probably came in about 12 hours, I reckon.
Yeah, that's my memory of what you said. And then, for me being 20, and I know I hit that point where I just obsessive me kicked on. I'm like, I'm not moving till I get this. And it saw me through. So I absolutely appreciate that. Yes, for normal people without obsessive problems, accessibility features, lowering it down, tip of the cap to the developers. Great work, great inclusion. More people playing more games, I have no objections.
Absolutely. And especially towards the end of that game where you're fighting some of those bosses, and a lot of those bosses require a lot of parrying. So this is just going to be great for them.
Well, I found once you unlock the 3 characters and you could just super.
Oh, yeah.
Once you get to that point of the game, it's so easy. You just,
Yeah, I don't think that's what they want you to do with that, but yeah, I'm the same.
Oh, really? I thought that was the developer's intent when I'm playing. I'm like, yeah, I feel like a superhero.
I think you're supposed to use them, against the different color things. Use one guy against the shields, but I'm just I'm just going to call all 3 whenever I get a chance.
I was cool down, and that was like the power-ups, how you could buy the power-ups and it would reduce the cooldown time for each character. That's all I did. And I was like,
oh, that's great. Yeah, once you get that, I think that's what Bully needs. I think the combat doesn't fight anything with. He just needs his help with all these other stuff, and now he's got it. So thank you, Hi-Fi Rush, for listening to your players out there and just doing the right thing.
Nailed it. Story 3 this evening?
Story 3, I thought maybe this might get us beforehand, but I think it's going up tonight for us because it's Thursday for everyone else. But we've got
I looked, and it was, I want to say it's 7 a.m. for us tomorrow.
Okay, so we've still got a little while. So PlayStation State of Play returns this week with Final Fantasy 16 Showcase. The event will feature over 20 minutes of new gameplay. So as Troy just mentioned, it's 7 o'clock for us in Australia. So I can't wait to see more of this game. I think I'd already had seen it. I don't need more footage or gameplay of this game to sell me on it. But that's coming from me, who's sort of, and any of us who are sort of, pretty tight when it comes to all the news and stuff in video games, and anytime a new gameplay stuff drops, we're usually on it. So, but for anyone that hasn't seen much footage of this, this is going to be a great time to sit down and see what this game's actually all about. I'm really excited. I think Bully's gone out and said it's one of his, if not his most anticipated game this year. And it's only just around the corner on 22nd of June, I believe it's coming out. So, unfortunately, the showcase is just this game.
I was going to say, do we know, is it exclusively Final Fantasy 16?
Yeah, well, reading this, it sounds like it's going to be. I don't think we're going to get any other news, and I think we probably would have been told that if that was the case.
Also, I should give up. I'm still hoping for the stealth drop of Beat Saber for PSVR 2. I'm like, is this the one? And the one more thing, Beat Saber now available PSVR 2. That's what I'm waiting for.
That's got to happen at some point. I don't think it's going to happen at this showcase. I think that's another thing that's going to happen.
Written all over it, doesn't it?
I reckon it's got E3 time.
Games Fest.
Whenever PlayStation does their showcase or whatever, I think that's when we're going to see it. But no, I'm excited to see this 20 minutes of gameplay. I don't know if I would need to be up at 7 o'clock to watch it. I'll just sort of sit back and watch it later on. But no, I'm excited to see what Final Fantasy 16. I can't wait. I'm a massive fan of 15 and 7 remake that we got recently as well.
Do you think there's any chance of seeing the boys in their car just pulling off in the background somewhere from 15?
I hope we can't see the boys pulling off in their car in the background.
What episode number is this?
69!
69, dude! Let's move on, shall we? Story 4. I apologise, everyone. That was very unintentional.
Story for April's PlayStation Plus game catalogue and classic titles have been confirmed. So I'm just going to go down to the list of stuff that Premium Game Catalogue is getting. We're getting Kena Bridge of Spirits, great game. Doom
Wait,
Eternal.
pump the brakes on that. Have they yet patched in the correct navigation as proposed on the Gaming Enforcement Agency?
No, I cannot confirm or deny, but I can most definitely deny that they have not done it, or confirm they have not done that.
Very good.
We have got Doom Eternal, another great game there, PS4 and PS5 versions. We have Riders Republic, PS4, PS5. Great game that sort of didn't do a whole lot sales-wise, but if you can get it for free, why not? Wolfenstein 2, The New Colossus, one of the best first-person shooter campaigns you will play on console.
Yep.
Slay the Spire, Monster Boy and the Cursed Kingdom.
Hold on,
The Evil
Slay the Spire. Was that? I've never gone hands-on, but that rings a bell of my indie hits, indie darling type game from a year or two.
I think it is. Yeah, right? I think that's right. I don't know a whole bunch about it. If I saw gameplay, I'd probably be like, yep, that's the one. But I do remember
the front covers there, but it doesn't mean anything to me.
Vaguely. See, I even remember seeing the cover for that. I just can't remember what type of game it is.
Yeah, I've got no idea. Just Indie Darling hits to mind. Anyway,
sorry. Indie Darling. That's right. Then we've got Monster Boy, The Cursed Kingdom, The Evil Within, Wolfenstein, The Old Blood, which is the DLC to Wolfenstein, I think the New
2,
Order.
I think, isn't it?
Could be. It says Wolfenstein 1, The Old Blood, but
anyway. No, well, I'm sure they're correct.
Yeah, so Bassmaster Fishing, Paradise Killer, and Sackboy's Big Adventure, as well as hitting that PlayStation Plus Premium Classics are getting Doom, Doom 2, Doom 64, Doom 3, and Dishonored Definitive Edition. So not a bad little lot of games there, I think, coming out of the catalogue. So anyone that's got those subscription services, I think you get a few good ones there. If you haven't played Kena Bridge of Spirits, do yourself a favour. If you like Pixar, it's pretty much just a Pixar movie in a game. It's beautiful. I can't wait to see what that developer does next, actually. I haven't heard anything from that
waiting for the navigation to be implemented.
I think that's what everyone forgot about. Maybe there is. They are working on Kena 2, and we do see something about it this year. Probably about time. I think it's been a couple of years since Kena came out, I think.
It would be nice if they could. I'd love it. I'm waiting for number 2, but I feel like we're a few years off it still. It feels like number 1 just came out so recently.
Yeah, no, that's true. But with all good things coming to the service, Troy, things have to get taken away. Next news story.
Indeed. I just try to look here, see how many numbers are they adding. I wanted to do a number comparison.
Oh, they're not adding as much as they're taking away, I'll tell you that.
I think they're taking away twice as much as they've added 15 and taken 32.
Yep, that sounds about right. So story number 5, is it?
It is.
Story number 5, we have from Push Square, 32 games will be taken off PlayStation Plus Extra Premium next month. And there's some good ones here, so make sure you download them now while you can. We have Marvel Spider-Man Game of the Year, Marvel Spider-Man Regular Edition, Flat Out 4, Deadlight, Director's Cut, Homefront Revolution, Mighty 9, Red Faction, Guerrilla, Shenmue 3, This War of Mine, Metro Last Light Redux, great games, the Metro games, Metro 2033 Redux, Kingdom Come Deliverance, Chocobo's Mystery Dungeon, Left Alive, Star Ocean, Balan Wonderworld. Oh, there's a classic. Get into that one while you can. Make us a Sonic the Hedgehog. This is their next darling. Resident Evil.
Do you reckon they had to take that out because he's going to prison?
Maybe.
He got done for inside.
He did. But you can still buy Sonic. Maybe just get rid of their shit games. Which that one most definitely is. Resident Evil, I'm assuming that's the remake version of it, which is really good. If you have never played the original Resident Evil, play that. How to Survive, Pixel Piracy, Last Day of June, Virginia, Dreamfall Chapters, TT Isle of Man, MX vs ATV, Tour de France, Graveyard Keeper, Kona, not to be confused with Kena, which we're getting. They've replaced Kona with Kena. Relicta, Windbound, Chronos Before the Ashes, and Pathfinder Kingmaker are all leaving the service. So, yeah, if any of those spark your interest, get into them now before they are gone forever.
For me, where is it? The one I wanted to highlight is, obviously the top 2, Spider-Man's, nailed those. But there was one in here I wanted to highlight as you should definitely check out, and it wasn't Balan Wonderworld, although I do recommend checking it out. Oh, crikey. Where was it? There was one that was... Oh, well, we'll have to come back to it. Keep your eyes on the channel. Mighty Number 9. It was Mighty Number 9. If you're a
Mega Man fan.
Mega Man fan, thank you. If you're a Mega Man fan and haven't checked out Mighty Number 9, absolutely do it if you're a higher tier subscriber before you lose the chance. Because I think if nothing else, it's worth going hands-on with what you can. All right, story number 6.
Story number 6 is Media Molecule. This comes from Video Game Chronicles again. Thank you. Media Molecule is ending support for Dreams. Another thing, rest in peace, live service games. They are
Wait.
dropping.
The dream is over.
The dream is over. It was always on the cards. I think this is one of those things it's what it's doing is so different in the sphere of games at the moment. It sort of came. It's sort of weird Sony back when Sony liked to do weird things, but now they just focus on big AAA games, and that's where all their money comes from for very good reason. Like you've got a good player base with this that is just into Dreams, but it's not going to hit that mass market that I think they wanted it to.
No.
There's some good experiences in there if you go play it, but there's nothing big and chunky that's going to be a worthwhile experience to sort of sink your teeth into that you can't get somewhere else, really.
Was this exclusive to the PSVR 1?
Yeah, I think it was, and I think they've announced they're no longer doing PSVR 2 support for this game as well. So, which is a shame.
I thought they would have either killed it 2 years ago, or if it had held on this long, I'm like, surely they're just working on the PSVR 2 implementation, because I never checked it out on number 1, and I'm like, surely it'll be a PSVR 2, it'll be away, and I'll finally be able to go hands-on. But no, my dreams have been dashed.
They've been dashed. So, yeah, apparently, according to this news article, players will still be able to play, create, and share the content on the game after September 1, which is when it's being sunlighted, but it will be receiving no further updates after that date. The game will also be migrated to a new server in late May, at which point players will be given a storage limit of 5 gigabytes for their creations. So players' current creations will not count towards this limit, and only those uploaded after the server migration will count towards their storage limit. So another sad thing to see one of these games go. I think Media Molecule are probably going to go off and do something else now for Sony. Probably another new little Big Planet game, but I'd really like to see them sort of maybe work with the Astrobot guys and maybe get us a nice cool platformer game or something like that, or do a crossover with
Astrobot and
Astro.
Sackboy.
Yeah, crossover. I could easily
style.
Yeah, I could easily see something like that coming from that. I don't know if Astro
Epic.
Boy needs Little Big Planet to sort of pump him up, because I think he's rife to be a new mascot of PlayStation. I think they could have a really good platform game there. That initial PlayStation VR game they had with him was freaking amazing, and just that small experience you got on the demo version, Astrobot's Playroom, whatever it was called.
Playroom VR, yeah, that was epic.
Yeah, it was so good. So they've got a great game there. Whether they use these guys now to do that or go off and do their own thing, I think they're always going to be in the creative sphere. I think they're always going to give us a game that's then got some kind of creative aspect. I think that's what Media Molecule does and likes to do. Whether they move away from that now because they've seen the drop off in numbers of this and sort of Little Big Planet.
Well, I think part of the problem is half of the team have left over the last few years. There've been story after story of the creative directors left, and now the lead animators left, and pretty much all the heavy hitters off this have left, except for, and I'm blanking on her name, but the one who won the BAFTA.
Yeah.
Is still in the studio, but I feel like a lot of their key talent have left over the last couple of years, so I'm not sure what's left of the original creative team that came up with Little Big Planet.
No, that's true. It's probably not a whole lot there, which is what's probably making this very hard to keep this game sustainable, I think, for a longer period of time. And I think their energies are probably better spent elsewhere, which is probably why they've made this move. And I think probably a good move in the long run. I think there's no point spending time, resources, money on something that's not making you money. So why not go off and do something, especially now that PlayStation 5's out. Whether they do a VR game, I think PlayStation is probably... They've got Horizon, but in terms of that, it's a lot of other third-party stuff making games for VR at the moment for that system. I think you do need a couple more first-party games coming to this platform if you're going to see a sustainable thing for the future of PlayStation VR 2. I think we need a few more bigger experience games that are coming directly from Sony. I think maybe Media Molecule's that. Maybe they go off and do an awesome platforming game that's in VR that's exclusive to PSVR 2. Like, I could see that definitely being something they could do.
That would be epic, man. I love the sound of that. Let's put Donkey in charge of deploying resources at Sony, everyone. Let's get behind that campaign. All right, mate. What's the story 7 this evening? This isn't good news, I don't think.
I don't even want to say it because that means it's real, Troy.
I'll say it then. Redfall, shock and horror, won't have 60 frames per second performance mode at launch. Talk about your swings and misses, Bethesda. What's going on?
So I mean, we had the same uproar happened just before the launch of Gotham Knights, where that did the same thing to us. Where out of nowhere, they were like, "Yep, the game's going to run at 30 frames and not be 60 frames at all." And we still had a great time with that. That was a nice, solid
Yeah,
30 frames. And if you play it now, I think they've even gone through an update in the last month or so, where the game runs even smoother and the frame rates literally stick to that 30 for an even smoother experience. But to have a game like this, massive, like with Xbox first parties, obviously taking a hit. We haven't seen a lot of stuff come from those studios at all. With Halo got pushed, this game's already been pushed. Starfield's been pushed. We just need a game to come out, and all of a sudden, every time this game seems like it's got a little bit of traction, releases new gameplay, try to get hyped, it just stamps on the brakes again, and like it just comes to a halt. And this is, this is media they don't need. It's only going to get backlash. No one's going to go, oh, cool, I get quality mode and I don't get my performance mode. Yes, they've announced it's coming at a later date, but then why not delay the game?
yeah.
You're already releasing this game
I'll
about
tell
a week.
you why. Starfield is why you don't delay Redfall.
Well, yeah, but the problem they've got at the moment is they're releasing this game smack bang in the middle. If you've got Jedi Survivor comes out, and then this comes out a week later, and then Zelda Breath of the Wild comes out after it.
Yeah.
And if you're not running this game in a performance mode, I could see. I know it's on Game Pass, and let's face it, we're going to pick it up and play it anyway. And the fact that you can't flick between a performance mode and quality mode, that's all you've got. Maybe we sort of get used to it.
I don't know, man. I think the other problem for this, though, is Back for Blood being 60 frames per second. And I still maintain every time I look at the gameplay of this game, I'm just reminded of Back for Blood. Back for Blood running at 60 is going to underscore how poor Redfall looks not doing it.
Yeah, and I think it's a lot of people seem to think, oh, quality mode looks better, it gives you better graphics. But I argue that you don't actually lose a whole lot getting that extra frame. I argue that the extra frame rate actually makes the image look clearer, and you get better clarity graphics out of that anyway, and
It's more immersive.
It is, and for a first-person shooter, which this game is, like this isn't like a Dishonored or something which is slightly slower paced and stealth and moving around. This is a first-person shooter now, and first-person shooter games need to be at 60 frames per second for that, to get your headshots, to get that smooth gameplay. Running at 30 frames per second, no matter how smooth it's going to run, and God, let's hope it runs smooth at that 30 frames per second. It just needs to do that, and to see this is happening, I think you probably should just delay this game, but I think they've said, no, we've already delayed this game. You need to get it out, and let's work on that performance patch down the track. Hopefully we're not waiting too long for that. I mean, we waited only 2-3 weeks, whatever it was, for DLC for Resident Evil 4 Mercenaries, and that's a whole new mode. Whether we get this in like 3 weeks after that, and they're only, just to get it out on that launch day, they're like, let's not worry about that. Let's get all the final bugs finished off, and then let's get that performance mode, which they're probably already working on, let's be honest. Let's make sure that's ready to go out the door in 3 weeks' time after that. But people will have already maybe fallen off the game by then. You're going to be playing Zelda, Jedi. People will still probably be playing Jedi, and you've got a whole bunch of other games, even Dead Rising 2. Not Dead Rising 2, sorry, Dead Island 2, which comes out, I think, the 21st. So that's this Friday coming up next week as well, which from all accounts, that's going to be running at 60 frames per second as well. So what's to say I don't want to get my, zombie, even though they're vampires, shooting stuff elsewhere. So, very, very sad news to see this pop up this morning. There's nothing that hurts me more than a game that doesn't give us performance options, especially with these new current consoles that other games are doing it just fine.
And now that the flame performance on the Xbox is really caught front and center of my technical eye, I know from the gameplay footage of this, we've seen a lot of fire effect, cars on fire and stuff throughout the world. So the first thing I'm going to look at in Redfall is find me a flame, and is the flame running at 30 frames a second, or is it running at 10? I am just not holding out much hope for this game from a technical standpoint. I think we're in for a choppy, buggy mess here.
Exactly right. And speaking of messes, I'm just going to bring up, Tagaro says your audio just sounds a little bit out. It sounds like you're a little bit far away and a bit tinny.
Oh, well, my apologies. I might be able to hit some buttons here. Thank you for the heads up.
I'm not sure how long it's been going because I haven't had a chance to check the chat, but hopefully we can fix it up for you there, Tagaro.
No, I was sitting a bit off mic, so I'm sure it was me being a bit far away from the old... Oh, look, I can actually see it there. It is incredibly low. Where can I fix that? I reckon I can fix that on here. Keep talking, Unky. I'll fix my mic issue. Tagaro, thank you for the heads up. Should we move on to the next story, possibly, Unky, while I tweak my mic?
Yeah, no, we can go to the next story. The last story's made me sad enough as it is.
Very good. This one will put a smile on your dial. Check this tweet out from Naughty Dog.
Naughty Dog, a new patch for the PS5 version of The Last of Us Part 1 is now available, including new HBO t-shirt, cosmetics for Ellie, as well as improvements and fixes to combat accessibility, audio, and more. Tagaro says all good. So they did just add this. I could see she's wearing a Mortal Kombat t-shirt now to go in line with the HBO show. And what's the other one say? Is that Wire?
Check it out. It's The Wire from the HBO series The Wire. Now, this to me gets me so excited. If HBO, and I've just gone full screen, I'm just waiting for it to catch up. Hopefully it will any moment. Can I do one of these? That going to work? Oh, yeah, look at that. There it is. It's The Wire. Now, this is the perfect example of cross-media promotion. They're just using The Last of Us as a vehicle to promote another HBO show. But what it says to me is that the marketing department at Sony and the marketing department at HBO are, for some reason, very happy with each other and working in a cross-promotion sense. So my question to you is this, Unky. What HBO series is about to get a Sony game? Will it be The Wire? What, or is this a wink and a nod? Are we going to see Game of Thrones exclusive to PlayStation? Maybe Tinfoil Hat Troy says.
Well, I don't know. I don't know what other HBO shows I can think of that would work well. Maybe Chernobyl. I don't know.
Come on, man. What a win for Sony would it be if they would just turn around and like, yeah, we've got the exclusive Game of Thrones game.
Oh, there's that. Yeah, I mean, people are saying Final Fantasy 16 is very Games of Thrones, so why not give us a legitimate Game of Thrones game? I'm not sure how you would do it with all the different factions and stuff, but I'm sure there's a way.
There is a will, and there certainly is a way. But yeah, so I'm going to call it now. I reckon this is actually The Wire. I reckon there will be a game of The Wire TV show, and I am such a big fan of The Wire. Now, Unky Dunky, viewers know you're a police officer here in Australia, and I've got to ask, man, as a police officer, have you watched The Wire, and did it ring true to you at all?
I have so many people say that I should watch The Wire, but I have to confirm that I haven't watched it as much as people tell me that
it is the best. Blasphemy! What
I know, mate. I've watched Blue Heelers. Sergeant Tom Croydon.
Have you played The Last of Us? No, but I've played Bell and Wonderland. Blue Heelers. Get out of here, Black. That's ridiculous.
I'm going to change this up, but Tagara says Band of Brothers. Band of Brothers would be awesome. Ooh. HBO's best show by far. I'm a massive Band of Brothers fan, Tagara. So, and I know there's a Call of Duty and stuff, but I know they did the Brothers in Arms game I really liked. And if they did a new version of that, which is very similar to that, I think I could definitely see that.
All right, so no wages on the line, Unky, but you heard it here first when they announced The Wire exclusive to PlayStation at this year's game. What is it, Summer Games Fest?
Yeah.
You heard it here first. All right, mate, that can only mean one thing. It's time for the new releases from the Game Informer website. Tell me things, mate.
Mate, there's not too much out this week. We have Sherlock Holmes, The Awakened remake, PS5, Xbox Series X and S, PS4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC on April 11th, so that is out now. We have Tron Identity on Switch and PC, April 11. Ghostwire Tokyo that we spoke about tonight finally hits Xbox Series X and S, and it's on Game Pass April 12.
And that 8 is underscoring it. That game is easy than 9.
It's up there, but it's not bad from Game Informer. Then we have a Mega Man Battle Network Legacy Collection, only on the PlayStation 4 and Switch and PC on April 14. So there's the only game on this list that is currently not out yet.
Great work, Game Informer. Thank you very much for the list. Unky Dunky. That brings us to everyone's favourite segment. Who will fight?
Who will fight?
Unky Dunky, what are the constraints?
Right, we're speaking about it tonight. E3 is dead. Summer Games Fest is upon us, even though when Summer Games Fest hits, will be in winter, but everywhere else is enjoying summer. So we are getting into our summer get-up and looking at which is the best character in a singlet. Who's summer ready to go, going to get those singlet lines.
You know what they say, Unky? Sun's out, guns out. Who's first up this week?
Guns out. Big Maxi Payne. He's been on a few standoffs now, but this boy can rock a singlet. Doesn't always rock a singlet, but he does so in arguably one of the best third-person shooters of all time, which criminally needs to be remade.
Oh, yes, please, but we've got to quickly shout out that, geez, it runs good on the Xbox Series X backwards compatibility style.
It does. Thank God. That day they brought this to Xbox Backs Compat, I could not have downloaded this thing faster. I've been holding on to my hard copy that I still have today. It's 2 discs on the back on the old Xbox
Oh, wow.
360. Just hanging on to that thing. I don't even know why. I couldn't do anything with it, but just looking at it made me happy. But this just needs a 4K bump and a frame per second boost. I'd be happy with that. But if they could remaster it, even happier. What a game! Look at this guy. Look at these. He's got old man strength, and you can see it because he's wearing that singlet. He conceals it for a lot of the game under Hawaiian shirts and other leather, long leather jackets that he wears for a lot of the series. But this one, he gets that full dad bod out there, and I'm all for it, Troy.
Oh, 2 big thumbs up from me. Unky Dunky, here's the question. Would you rather a remake of Max Payne at the end of next year, 2024, or would you rather Max Payne 4 in 2026? One or the other?
A remake of this Max Payne or the first one?
No, remake of Max Payne 3,
Yep.
Looking awesome at the end of next year, or wait an extra 2 years and get number 4 in the series?
Oh, that's tough. Who's making number 4, Remedy or Rockstar? Rockstar. Now I'll go, 2026 you say?
Yep.
Do I still get Max Payne 4 at some point?
No, it's one or the other. We're deploying the resources now. You can either deploy the resources on a 2-year build of Max Payne 3 this gen, or you can have the same team working for 4 years on Max Payne 4.
Nah, I'll go Max Payne 4 because I can still play this as it is, and it's still enjoyable as it is. As much as I'd love to see this thing remastered, I reckon I'd have to go, if it's from the same people giving me the same experience, but it's a new story, I've got to go the new one.
Very good. Tagaro, same question out to you, mate. Let us know in the chat which way you deploy the resources. Unky, what's next? What's number 2 in the standoff?
Number 2 is John McClane. He's not in many video games, but this guy is synonymous with white singlets, Troy. It's pretty much spends the whole movie in one, and he does the whole thing without shoes as well. So
this trilogy on the PlayStation 1, I don't even know how many hundreds of hours I spent into it. And the awesome thing about this is the 3 games were different games. Like game 1 that you can see here is your, third-person shooter running around. Game number 2 was the off-screen, what are they, the G-Con guns? What were they called back on the PS1?
Yeah, it was G-Con.
Yeah, G-Con gun. Game Die Hard 2 was all like G-Con gun. And then game number 3, you were in the taxi. It was a driving game.
That's right.
The best trilogy game ever. I pumped so many hours into all 3. I absolutely love it. I'm a huge Die Hard fan. And speaking of remakes, someone remake this trilogy.
I was thinking, when I was watching the gameplay too, I'm like, this actually kind of looks fun. I'd go and play this now. It's like, the way
this game.
Rolls and stuff. This looks like Max Payne 3, but like demade, like one of those PS1 demakes of Max Payne 3. It looks exactly like that. It looks like a lot of fun.
It is so, I couldn't tell you the level layouts now, but I swear if I went hands-on with this controller, it would all come back to me instantly. I put so many hours into this. I absolutely loved it. God, I couldn't tell you how many times I finished it. I wrote credit on all 3 of these games so many times back in the day. Ooh, you're going to be doing well in this week's standoff to knock John McClane off.
Oh, you really are. I know he's a movie star, but god damn it, they brought him to the video game screen and he's still wearing that white sticker, Troy, so he's got to be in the lineup.
And they nailed it. They absolutely nailed it.
They did.
Right. Number 3. Oh, where would a standoff list about singlets be without our Lara Croft? Could we not find an 8-bit version of Lara Croft? I think they did her a bit more justice back then.
No, they did. I went for a more sort of user-friendly, not going to, get us too excited style of Lara Croft because, episode 69. I do. That's why we kept her PG because back in the old day, those singlets really had to work to keep those nipples in. So, especially all the jumping and climbing she did, those things were doing some heavy lifting.
Now, I think we've got it on record that Bullies was Carmen Sandiego. Says every chance Lara Croft was mine.
Absolutely. I think it was most people's, but yeah. But I like what they did. Even in the new games, they still kept her in the singlet. They made it slightly more tasteful, and she's got some slightly more toned arms. She doesn't have those stick arms coming out because I don't know how the old school Tomb Raider actually managed to hold on to anything, to be honest. The way she was going, at least this one looks like she's capable. But no, I love Tomb Raider, and she's synonymous with the blue singlet getting out there. They've kept it going throughout the whole game. Obviously, she wears a lot more clothes in the more recent games. There's a lot more outfits she can put her in jackets. But why the hell would you? I play this whole game blue singlet, back to front. She's never getting. I don't care whether you walking through the snow and it's cold. Blue singlet all day, every day.
I love it. Now, any chance we're going to see Lara Croft in a Wire t-shirt? Do you think at some point?
Or maybe not. Maybe a Game of Thrones t-shirt.
Perfect. All right, number 4 this week.
Number 4 is not so much a protagonist. This guy is our antagonist from Far Cry 3. We have Vas, which, crazy to think, if you said who was the main bad guy from this game, you'd say Vas. It's actually not. He actually meets his demise. He meets his demise relatively early into the game, or maybe halfway.
Yeah, for me it was about 8 hours in, so for most people it's probably 2.
Yeah. Yep. So, no, he's, again, synonymous with this red singlet that he's wearing as he's giving you the speech about being, insanity. Definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. And it's just, he looks menacing. I love the fact that it's red. Like, it's probably he's probably bathed in the blood of his victims. I don't know, to get that red. It probably once was white, like Bruce Willis's and Max Payne's. But he's done a bit more killing on that thing. He's bright red now. But he's just one of those characters that most people know this guy, even if they don't know video games. For whatever reason, they've seen him on, advertising material for this game. Even if you never played the game, you know who this guy was. And I think that was the disappointing thing, was him, leaving that game as early as he did, because I think he was such a good bad guy in a game, and he had such charisma and stuff. You really sort of liked him, and the way he's performed is just so well done. And it was just a shame that he was gone so early.
It's reminiscent of Resident Evil with Lady Dimitru. Another great bad guy.
Yeah, Lady Dimitrescu. Just get rid of her. She could easily be the villain for the whole game. Yet she's gone too soon. But unfortunately, she wasn't wearing a singlet. So
now there's some DLC worth buying. Seeing this footage, man, did I love Far Cry 3. Shout out to the Skrillex song "Burn 'Em" with the bloody crops. That was a thing.
Yes.
But this is seeing Vas, I can't pronounce it, has reminded me that I never played the Far Cry 6. Remember they did that? I didn't go hands on with it, but they brought back all the villains.
That's right. Yeah.
I paid for it. I own it. It's on my Xbox. But I must put some time into going back to the DLC for Far Cry 6.
Oh, Far Cry 6 is some great DLC. I did the Stranger Things one. That was great DLC. But yeah, the Vast one, I think you play as him, and I think it's a roguelike kind of thing where you sort of, if you die, you go back and do different things. So that can be really cool to see, because I think they've got the voice actor back for it as well.
I am going to have to go hands on this week. That may very well be on next week's Games Interrogation Deliberation, I think.
I love it.
Great entrant, Unky. All right, number 5.
Number 5 is Unky Dunky. First made his fame in A Way Out. You're not going to see him in a singlet on the footage we've got here. You just see him in a nice tight blue t-shirt, not dissimilar to the one I'm wearing right now, to be honest.
Leon!
But yeah, you can see what kind of rippling muscles he might have under that t-shirt there. So if you like and subscribe to our channel, then we might chuck up some pictures of Unky on the socials for you to get all moist about.
I love it. All right, number 6.
Number 6 is Duke. Speaking of getting moist, Duke Nukem. This guy, he knew how to get people wet. Just again, he's one of those characters that you don't see a lot of these days, mainly because he's just a massive chauvinistic pig throughout the whole game, which was part of his appeal back in the day, playing these games. And
still part of his appeal, if you ask me.
No, that's right. Again, he's got the red singlet, whether that was white and now turned red by, I think on the screen now you've got him ripping off someone's head and shitting down his neck like he likes to say and do. But no, again, one of those iconic characters that, just like Lara Croft back in the day, was synonymous with his singlet, his bulging muscles. Like, again, you're not going to get much by covering this guy up. I think that's part of the reason that the aliens sort of leave him alone by the end of it, is the fact that he's shown off those massive delts and biceps he's got going on.
I love it. Duke Nukem, come back. You're due for a rebirth.
Well, the last rebirth took, 20 years to get that game out with Duke Nukem Forever, and that turned out well.
Fair point. All right, who's number 7 this week?
Number 7 is Ryu Hayabusa from Ninja Gaiden fan. This is not so much a singlet, it's more of a tank, but he's still getting those arms out. Again, what an absolute badass of a character. Still one of the coolest ninjas getting around there. And of course, he's one of the coolest ninjas. He's got those arms to show off. Like, why not? Why wear one of those big black get-ups that cover everything when you can be stealthy, when you can get the arms out? I mean, you might be hiding in a corner and someone's like, hang on a sec, I can see an arm. Then he's foiled then, but when they see that arm, they're going to get scared because he can do this kind of stuff with his nunchucks. And what a man this guy is. He's in some of the hardest games ever made. I've never actually finished one, but he damn sure looks good doing it.
That he does. Oh, speaking of looking good doing it, it's not quite Fast and the Furious.
Not quite Fast and the Furious. Mr. Riddick himself. I tried to actually find footage of him from the shit Fast and the Furious Crossroads game that came out. But I couldn't find
the character model glitched and he never appeared in it.
Yeah, probably. And even if he did, he probably was trying to wear a singlet, but it probably looked like a fucking hoodie for all those. That game was just terrible. You have to go back and watch Troy's review. That's one of the funniest things you've ever seen in that Let's Play. What a shit game. Anyway, this actually wasn't a shit game, but this is still Mr. Riddick or Vin Diesel wearing a singlet because it's what he likes to do. But this game, great game. We've spoken about it before in past standoffs, I think. But again, what a badass. He's actually got a black singlet, so I think he gets props for being the first one wearing a black singlet because if it gets covered in blood, you're not even going to know the difference. Why wear white? All these guys wearing white singlets. I don't get it. But no, Vin Diesel's definitely he's got the go for a singlet. This man.
He does. I love it. Speaking of games that could do with a remake or a new entry in the series, bring back, what was it, Escape from Butcher Bay?
Oh, yeah, Escape from Butcher Bay. That game still, I reckon, would hold up today with some of the gameplay that's not polished today. Like, the first-person shooter action in that, just the story it told was actually really good. It wasn't based on the movie itself.
That game was way better than it had any right to be.
Oh, it absolutely was. So, no, what a great game. Now, we don't have a standoff number 9, but that's my fault because Tagaro actually has pointed out one that is a really good one. And Troy, when I say this, you're gonna kill me for not having him on the list.
Okay, who are we missing?
We are missing. Hey, yo, CJ! How I missed him, I don't know. Thank you, Tagaro, for jumping in there because he's definitely getting put on this list. He's not even just like we'll talk about him because, yeah, he's on the list. He's number 9. Number 9, CJ from GTA, San Andreas.
Oh, hey, yo, CJ. Shout out to Swirly, my man from San Andreas. Love back in the day. Oh, God, we spent hours talking about that game. Boy, do I miss you, Swirly. R.I.P.
Oh, I know. But, synonymous with that, again, the white singlet. You could put him in a whole bunch of other clothes in that game, but everyone remembers that game. So
he rocked that singlet for me every day of the week. I never changed him out. But, hey, yo, CJ!
And the good thing about that was you could actually take him to the gym and get him buff as well. So you could be a scrawny little dude in a singlet, or you could be a buff guy in a singlet. It was all up to the player's choice, Troy. It was amazing.
Oh, I had my CJ buff. Don't you worry about that. I spent a lot of time in the gym. What was it? Tap an X from memory? X.
Yeah, I just remember, I think I got to a point though where he was almost too big, and I'm like, I kind of want to tail him back just a little bit because he looked like a friggin' meathead, but I loved it still.
I loved it. All right, well, you're right, Tagaro, that the 9th entrance has to be CJ, and woo, God, it's hard for me to ever go past CJ, but Unky Dunky, where are you putting your chips this week?
Oh, I mean, I'd like to vote for Unky Dunky, but we didn't actually get to see the arms out. So unless we get a few likes and subscribes, and we might chuck him on there, and we can let you know next week how he went. But I'd love to go to my man Max Payne just because I love Max Payne. But again, he doesn't spend as long in that singlet as all the others do.
Yep.
John McClane, synonymous with the singlet, again in
That's
3 fantastic games back in the day as well. I mean, I'm a little bit torn because, Die Hard's almost one of my favourite movies of all time. But I mean, we're across media here. We talked about Mario earlier. We've got movies, we've got video games. What's calling it? John McClane.
Welcome to the party. I love it. John McClane, a winner by unanimous consent, is you. Die Hard every day of the week and twice on Sundays. That will do it for the stand-up this week. Congratulations to John McClane. Excellent single at work. Unky Dunky, please tell me what's been happening in that there YouTube chat.
Well, I've had Tagaro in there pretty much all night, so thank you, Tagaro. He let us know about our sound issues as well, which we've managed to sort out. He also let us know that we've missed one of the most important standoffs, so he's been doing the hard work in there.
Thank you, Tagaro. Oh, Unky, I don't know if you happen to see our Let's Play of PGA Tour, but Tagaro is on the line to be joining us in the next Let's Play of PGA Tour 23, 2K23, whatever it's called.
Nice. Well, I won't be joining because I don't want to get pants by Bully. I can't admit that he's better at any video game than me, and I refuse to be part of that. So
that's right. Ace is our 4. It's Bully.
Good.
Bully, Tagaro, Ace, and myself will be the 4. Keep your eyes on the channel. It'll be happening in next week, maybe 2 weeks.
Nice.
Short
order.
Nice.
Awesome. Tagaro gives his win to CJ, the man. I mean, it was a close. He was close there. It's a very close second for CJ. Sorry, Tagaro. We also had Poke Charlie 6 was in the chat saying g'day. He said he hasn't been around for a while. It says hey to everyone as well. We had
Hey, Charlie, how you doing?
Ezkiel Smith Road in the chat as well, having a chat to Tagaro. G'day to you as well. Thank you for joining in. Charlie Morrison's been in there. Thank you, Charlie, for being in the chat tonight and saying g'day to keeping Tagaro busy in there. But that is all our guys in the chat. Thank you so much for joining us tonight for this episode number 69.
69, dude! All right, guys, that is it. It has been a massive episode. Unky Dunky, beautiful work. We're off to. Thank you very much, Unky Dunky. Perfect work producing this week, mate. Thank you for kicking in those newsroom doors. And always, thank you for rounding up our standoff contenders.
Mate, it's been my absolute pleasure. And doing Bully's heavy lifting in the chat. So I'll be happy to have him back doing that stuff next week, hopefully.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, Tagaro. Excellent work throughout that chat as well. I appreciate you there. That is it for us. What else can you do with Geek Aloud, Unky?
You can like it, subscribe it, and you'll never miss it.
Oh, that was luck. Hey, that's something.
Oh, look out!
Old Uncle Donkey.
Gee, donkey.